Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Son of a... What happened? I stabbed at my mic button 3 or 4 times before I made contact with it.
Oh, no. Have you been drinking?
I'm just over here punching away. And it finally gave in.
I've had issues with that mic button before. Not yours, but mine.
I'm over here just pounding away. Here we go. Before you know it, we've been suckered into a Tuesday broadcast. But I'll tell you what, I think we can make something out of it. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Going to be crowded in here today. Lots of company. Beginning at around 7:30.
This might be one of the, I guess, more busy days as far as guests goes we've had in a long time.
Going to be busy.
We're going to screw it up. You can't even get your mic button to work. We're in some serious trouble.
I still think we can make something out of it. 7:30, Janelle Klein's going to stop by. All right? And also around that time, we're going to talk Twins baseball with a former member of the club, now turned color commentator, Glen Perkins.
That'll be great.
And I believe we've somehow cornered Glen into joining us all baseball season to talk about the Twins.
We'll find out if he knows what he's getting himself into here.
Has he agreed to anything, verbally or otherwise?
He has agreed to hang out with us every Tuesday for the Twin season.
We told him we were KQ, so he'll find out live on the air that's not the case. Since we have announced it, we've mentioned it a couple times that this year it'll be Glen Perkins. We've had folks reach out and say they're pretty excited about it. He's fun to listen to, and I think that this will be something good for us because we've heard people say he's a funny dude. And Dana, weren't you telling? Somebody was telling me they heard a couple stories about him on just what an interesting guy he is.
Oh, he's a great dude. I know him a little bit personally. He's always been fantastic. In fact, I own a pizza oven thanks to him. He bought me a pizza oven once.
That's so cool.
He bought you a pizza oven?
How does that work?
At the last radio station I worked at, I did mornings, and one of my radio partners, he brought in a pizzazz. You guys know what a pizzazz is? It's that thing that every college dorm has or broke dude living in an apartment.
Is it like a turntable?
Yeah, it spins the pizza and slowly cooks it.
Right.
Very cheap. You find it on the end cap at, big box retailers. Anyway, my radio partner, he brought one in, and he brought a Heggie's pizza, which I've always considered the Cadillac of frozen pizzas, the way a lot of people do. And we cooked it on the pizzazz, and we tweeted out a photo of it. And Glenn saw it, and he goes, "You cannot do a Heggie's pizza dirty like that by cooking a pizzazz." And messaged me and said, "What the hell is your station's address? I'm buying you guys a damn real pizza oven." So he
did not like the pizzazz. He didn't think a Heggie's could cook properly in a pizzazz.
No, he just thought, a pizza that nice deserves a good quality cook. And
that's hilarious.
He would not stand with us having it. So literally within hours, he must have done it on Amazon. We get a package at the radio station, damn near by the time the show ended, of a real deal pizza oven. We called it the Glen Perkins Super Pizza Oven 9000.
Well, he spent a few years as a college kid at the U of M. I bet he knows a thing or two about making a frozen pizza.
Exactly. And I think, once he, made something of himself, unlike, me, I'm not going to speak for you guys. Once he made something of himself, he realized there's better ways to cook a frozen pizza than a spinning disc pizzazz.
Now, I'm not one to argue with an all-star. But 1 year up at BIR, somebody hauled up a pizzazz pizza maker, and a lady, is how you say it, Josh, a lady who was camping with us, made us a breakfast pizza.
Oh, I like those.
On a pizzazz, knocked my socks off. Now, maybe that's because normally at BIR we eat leftovers out of a trash can.
Day-old hot dogs.
We've never properly prepared. In all the years we went to BIR, there were one or two people who would bring hot dogs and buns and steaks and get all dialed in. The rest of us would just, eat whatever we run into. So maybe that's why that pizza tasted so wonderful on that particular day.
And I don't want to trash the great people at Pizzazz or whatever it is.
No.
It gets the job done. It'll do in a pinch, but when you can, have a freshly cooked pizza out of a pizza oven, that's what it's designed for. That's a lot better. But no, Pizzazz
sure.
will do in a pinch.
I'm sure Pizzazz are good people. So, Glen Perkins, around 7:30. He's calling games this season on television with Corey Provis. Is that correct?
Yep.
The lead announcer is Corey. And lots of folks have been asking about Dick Bramer, who joined us the last couple of baseball seasons. We wish Dick all the best, of course, and love talking with him. We weren't able to get things lined up with Mr. Bramer this time around, so we called Glensky. I wonder if he minds if I call him Glensky.
I bet he'd be fine with it.
I bet he'd be okay. Seems pretty laid back from what everybody said.
I watch the Twins as often as I can. I try to watch damn near every game. What happened? What was that?
Rocco.
Oh, Rocco Baldelli, of course,
Rocco.
the manager of the... So I've watched a lot of Glenn over the last couple of years. Fun guy, knowledgeable guy, well-behaved despite being from Stillwater.
Yep.
We'll talk to him, like I said, 7:30. The Twins begin their season Thursday in St. Louis. And also, All Elite Wrestling is in town for a show tomorrow night. And we got one of their top tag teams popping by later. A brother combo from right here in town, Top Flight, featuring Dante and Darius Martin. Awesome athletes, these guys. Absolutely awesome athletes. We'll see how they're doing and what they're planning for tomorrow night when they come on in studio at 8:30. I got to watch that show, AEW Dynamite, at Dominique Wilkins Auditorium.
And I went down a rabbit hole last night watching their highlights on YouTube. Incredible athletes is an understatement almost. These guys are phenomenal.
I remember watching their debut on AEW. As you guys know, I was a junkie for the local shows for many, many, many years. I know, I'm going to screw this up before the end of the day. Darius is the older of the two. They're 1 year apart. Josh, these guys are 25 and 24 years old and are already veterans of the television wrestling game.
That's great.
Darius is the older one. I know for sure I saw Darius at local shows before he got the call up. I'm not 100% sure if I ever saw Dante at the local shows. So, I mean, these guys are terrific, absolutely terrific at what they do.
We knew we were lucky to get this interview when it got the green light from who, Dana?
Rob Page.
Rob Page.
Yep.
Local referee Rob Page gave us 2 thumbs up on it.
So I'm sure he refereed a lot of their matches here in town.
So we knew we got the right guys coming in.
That's the thing. Sometimes, I don't keep up with television wrestling as much as I used to. So when we get these opportunities, I recognize the name. I've heard of them, but I asked Rob Page. I said, "What do you think? Do you think this would be fun?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, those guys are great." So we're in good hands. If we get the Rob seal or Rob Page seal of approval, we're in good shape.
Yeah, Top Flight has just been awesome. Just awesome to watch. Somebody's maybe going to get choke slammed. Or maybe a Canadian destroyer. 24 and 25 years old. And already they're 5 years in to the gig. Or somewhere in that neighborhood. They're living my dream, really.
Really are.
Absolutely terrific. So we will be crowded. Josh, I think whether it be Glen Perkins or Top Flight, I think you should boomer-ask them a question.
Oh, yeah, okay. I just learned about the boomer-asking. I will boomer-ask a question.
I think you should boomer-ask them a question. I just learned about it, too. This
is great because I don't know if people who boomer-ask questions are aware, and we'll describe it in a second if you're not familiar, but you can see that a mile away if somebody is boomer-asking you a question.
I love it.
And this is such a perfect way to put it.
So many of this is not the proper way to begin that statement. So much of what you see on the internet, the trendy terms for everything on earth. Everything has to have a title now. Oh, you're ghosting me. Oh, give me another one. You're gaslighting me. You know, and you have to ask, okay, what does that exactly mean? This might be a lot of them don't pay off. This one is fun. Boomer asking is when you ask a specific question just to lead the conversation to be about yourself. That's boomer. You're asking someone a question, but you only do it so it can come right back to you and you can talk about yourself. So try to boomer ask Glen Perkins or Top Flight a question this morning, Josh.
You know, I wouldn't have the courage to do that because obviously I want to hear what they have to say. But at some point, I do want to boomer ask a question.
You could ask Glen Perkins today in the middle of a conversation about, say, maybe the Twins pitching staff. You could say, so who is your favorite guitar player from Whitesnake?
Because say, I love Whitesnake and I have opinions on it.
And you have
an opinion. That might be going too far. That might be going too far. But you can always tell because they're chomping at the bit to wait for you to get done answering the fake question so they can talk about it.
I have way too many people that in my life where I can tell right away. They'll send me a text message, hey, it's been a while, how you been? And I'll respond, yeah, things are good. And then all of a sudden just a response, just trauma dumping like 9 things on me, you know, about things that's going on in their life. Oh, okay, so you just wanted to tell me about what's going on in your life right now.
I think that's just a way to open up a conversation sometimes. This is making me think of just like having regular conversation. Isn't this just how regular conversation works?
Yes, but I think, Ashley, the next time you are boomer-asked something, you'll go, oh, now I can tell the difference. You know what I mean? Sure, I mean, the opening of the conversation might seem innocent enough, but the next thing you know, you realize, hey, weren't you the one who asked me a question? And the other person is completely dominating. You see what I'm saying?
One of the examples they gave is, how was your vacation? Because mine was great. So you're going to give them a quick opportunity to explain theirs, but you're setting up right away, I want to tell you about my vacation.
I mean, this isn't a perfect science, but it's just something that...
you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you know from the person, too.
Yeah.
That's just their routine. Because I know friends that actually look like check in because they're, wanting to see how I'm doing. But I also know the friends that will text me, hey, what's been going on? And then I know that they're just setting themselves up to vent or rant about something to me.
Now I'm starting.
This is a great... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, now I'm wondering if I'm a boomer asker. This is all new to me.
I don't think you are.
I hope I'm not a boomer asker.
No, yeah, where you're trying to create a fake in just to tell someone something about you.
I don't think I'm a boomer asker.
I've never noticed you do it.
Okay, I appreciate
And I think it's pretty obvious when people do it.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Jesus gave a perfect one for me and Glen Perkins. I asked Glen, hey, when do you turn 50? Out of curiosity.
All right, that's a really good example. Okay.
I'm just wondering because I do on Thursday. That's a perfect example.
When do you turn 50, Glen Perkins?
And I think he's, 42?
Yeah.
Early 40s somewhere?
42.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You do that, Josh, and I'll come back with, so what was your marriage like? Because I'm getting married on Saturday.
Yeah, well, tell us about your wedding.
And then Ashley can come in and say, hey, so you got a couple kids. I'm about to give birth to my first son. What's that like?
I'm not fat, I'm aerodynamic. Jesus said, do I hate people that ask questions just to answer them? Yes, I do.
Oh, God. It sounds like a lot of our listeners are familiar with this bit. So, again, boomer asking is when you ask someone a question just so you can talk about yourself. You want the question to come back to you, like a boomerang.
Ashley, did you ever notice that on dates? Where guys would ask you a question, you can tell they're not really listening to you. They're just waiting for their turn to talk to answer that same question.
Definitely, but I was actually going to mention that I think this is normal to do on dates because I've definitely done this on dates, especially if the conversation sucks.
Well, you're not necessarily asking them a question just so you can respond, though, right? You're trying to just get to know someone. You think you have a story.
I guess it depends. I'm like, all right, well, I have a story about a question I'm about to ask you. Let's see where you go with this.
But you're listening to that person.
Yes.
So that's the difference.
Okay.
You're not just throwing something out there for an excuse to talk.
Right.
Sometimes it has made me mad when they go on about a certain story, and I'm like, mine is so much better. Could you hurry up? Let's get to mine now.
Local 30.
Yes, Local 34.
Local 34, Jesus said, he does the opposite at work. He asks people questions so they talk and then hopefully get away from him as soon as possible.
That's smart, but that can also be really dangerous.
Common examples of boomer asking. do anything fun on Saturday? Because I got a story for you. So you've been asked a question, but you're not even given the opportunity to answer until they pop into. You do anything fun on Saturday, Ashley? Because I got to tell you something about what I did. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they're not actually asking to know your answer.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
That makes more sense.
They're not allowing you to. They're not listening to your answer.
A normal person would just skip asking the question and say, hey, I got a crazy story I want to tell you.
Right. Yeah, they're in boomer asking. By the way, it's not boomer like okay boomer. People like a boomerang.
No.
Because essentially you're waiting for it to come back to you. And so that's the difference, right, Ashley, is you don't really care what they have to say. You're just trying to get yourself in there.
There are many ways that people can sucker you into talking about themselves. This is just one of them. We used to know a guy around here. This was one of his regular gimmicks years ago. He would just say something along the lines, you guys probably remember, he would say something along the lines of, do I got a night ahead of me? Right?
So it requires you to go, okay,
right.
Tell us about this night.
All right.
Boy, do I have a hell of a weekend set up.
Well, I'm trapped here now, so go ahead and tell me about it, I guess.
And then he would sit there quietly, and everyone would look around the room and be, okay, I'll bite. Okay, what do you have going on this weekend? It was just... That's one of the ways people, they just kind of, they throw the bait out there and wait for someone to bite. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm going to have some fun this weekend.
I have someone in my life that is so egregious with that I never respond. Like, I got a hell of a night ahead of me. I'm like, oh, yeah, good luck, man. And then just leave it at that. Never ask any questions, nothing.
Or you'll be there for hours.
Or just because it's aggravating.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me.
Yeah.
We don't have to. Why do we have to dance around this?
I got a friend who it's always a riddle. Always a riddle, and it drives me nuts. When I see him at the bar, he'll say things like this. I just ran into your buddy. And then I have to say, okay, who? You know what I mean?
Which buddy?
I hate that. I hate that. Why does it always have to be a riddle? Why does it always have to be a guessing game? But that's just how he plays it. Probably a little bit different than what we're discussing, where people are, just trying to put the attention on themselves, just trying to give themselves an opportunity to talk about themselves. But that's also a little conversation quirk that drives me nuts.
Yeah, the fishing for you asking, okay, what's going on? It's different. It's similar but different than my cousin, who we've joked about before, who always will go, question. But he'll also just stand there and wait for you to notice he's there, and it scares the hell out of you usually.
So
he'll
weird.
Throw a question, and then he'll ask you a question.
My fiance gets boomeranged quite a bit.
He does?
Yeah, because of his job.
Does he work with boomer askers?
No, I'll I guess mention, oh yeah, or they'll say, what do you do for a living? And they basically already know. He usually has one of his jackets on that says what he does for a living. He's a meat wholesaler. And so he'd be like, oh, I sell meat for a living. And then it turns into them showing him pictures of all the meat that they cook and everything that they love about certain meat. And he's like,
okay.
Oh, all right, is this all you wanted out of this conversation, was to brag about your meat?
Do they actually listen to your fiance talk about his career? Or they okay, well then that's a
Not
boomer
at all.
ask. Yeah, that's a boomer ask.
They're just waiting to bust out photos of ribs from their smoker or some.
And he's like, all right, dude, I don't cook it. I just sell it, but all right.
Now, I don't know if this is technically a boomer ask. Because it's not a perfect science, and like I said, there's many ways that people prompt you into talking about themselves. But this is just one of my fondest memories from my neighborhood bar. This guy's such a character, and the answer, or the punchline, I guess, is so ridiculous. We still like to tell this story. Ashley knows that we like to play pocket billiards on Saturday nights over at my neighborhood bar. She and her fiance just joined us last weekend. And there's 5 or 6 core characters that always play, but every once in a while we get a straggler in there. And one of them is this ultimate goofball. He doesn't show up at my favorite neighborhood bar anymore because I think they told him to stay out. But it was just the oddest little bait he threw out there to try to get us to ask him about him And then the answer was so dumb. Now, we're in Wayzata. Keep that in mind. We're in Wayzata. He comes over to play pocket billiards with us one night, and he says this. Oh, man, just got back into town. And everybody, that
Really?
that common response where everyone knows they're being baited and nobody wants to be the first one to bite. Mm-hmm. So we ignored it, and we continue to play.
Nice.
All right? 2 minutes later, he says, yeah, like I was saying, I just got back into town. And this time, we all kind of looked at each other, and one guy said to himself and kind of gave us a look that said, okay, I'll be the huckleberry here. Again, the statement was, I just got back into town. And one guy goes, okay, from where? And dude says, Bloomington. Yeah, I was out. And we said, Bloomington? What the hell are you talking about? When you're in Wayzata and you came from Bloomington, the proper beginning to that story is not, I just got back into town. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Chicago, maybe. Milwaukee. Anywhere. Bloomington? No, that doesn't qualify as you just got back into town.
It's just a city you pass through.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not a trip.
So like, hey, babe, what do you say we load up the car and head to Bloomington today? It's a fine place, but it's not a destination where you would say, I just got back into town.
No, man.
I got a question.
Yes.
What kind of boomerasking would it be if it was based on a mid-'90s infielder for the Minnesota Twins?
Ron Coomer-asking.
That's right.
That's right.
What kind of boomerasking would it be if it was supposed to be something that is true, or how about I'll do this one. Abnormal mass of tissue. What would it be?
Tumor-asking.
Tumor-asking. What if it was very funny?
Humor-asking. I'm telling you, if we ever play this game for real on the air, I will emerge the grand champion.
Oh, no doubt.
Definitely, yeah.
What if it's something someone is spreading around that might not have any
rumor-asking?
What if it's from somebody that just thinks they know all the answers? Maybe this isn't a word. They just assume they know it. Presumer-asking. Maybe
Oh,
that's not a word.
presumer-asking. Yeah, I've never heard the word presumer, but I just love that that Ron Coomer got a mention in this.
It's the first one I thought of.
Oh, man. So there you go. Be on the lookout for those folks. What else is going on around here?
Have you checked Wait, how many games were yesterday?
How many games?
For the tournament?
Oh, none.
There wasn't any? Oh.
No, they started
I
up again
watched part of one yesterday. It must have been a rebroadcast.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was a weekend thing, or like late week thing.
It's Thursday. They start again on Thursday.
Thursday, okay. I said that to someone who had the TV on. I'm like, are they doing it different this year?
Oh, you know what I bet you stumbled into? I wonder if you stumbled into the National Invitational Tournament as opposed to the NCAA.
Oh, that could have been. I didn't really
Yeah.
pay attention.
Yeah.
I had just asked.
Or you're watching an instant classic.
One of those. Was that you that did that at a bar once? Watched the Twins game?
I've witnessed a couple people fall for a replay broadcast of an all-time great Twins game. And it was effing hilarious in both cases. Dana, you might remember this. I don't know how many years ago this was. It's got to be 20. Jason Kubel.
Yeah, the Grand Slam?
The Grand Slam home run. I don't know if he hit for the cycle.
He did.
He did.
The Grand Slam was for the cycle.
Yes. Beat somebody at the old Metrodome. Dramatic all-time game.
Left that game early.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, God. So this was quite a few years ago that it was replayed, probably during a rain delay or something. Mm-hmm. The Twins were still playing in the old Metrodome. So that's how long ago this was. But they must have been playing a road game, and there was a rain delay. So Fox Sports North or whoever was running things back then replayed this instant classic. Jason Kubel hits for the cycle, including a grand slam to win the game. And I walk into the bar, I notice that the game is on, and I recognize it as a replay. One dude at the bar did not. I mean, and when Kubel hit the grand slam, he goes, oh, my God! Woo! Hey! what the hell? Why isn't anybody? Kubel just hit a grand slam to win the game. Why is everybody? And I said, dude, this is 2 years old or whatever it was at the time. And he said, oh, my God, I am the dumbest bastard.
You should have suckered him in like, hey, buy a round of drinks for everybody.
Oh, my God. The other time was up at Pov's in Andover. Again, quite a few years ago. It must have been 20 years ago. A classic game was replayed, and there were 3-4 guys at the bar that did not recognize it, and it was just a riot.
It says it right there.
That would have been so much fun just to watch them hanging on every pitch in the ninth inning.
The Kubel guy just came uncorked, and everybody, it startled everyone at the bar because no one was watching. It was almost quiet in the bar. You would think they would, because I remember, if I remember correctly, the word replay was right there on the screen.
Yep, it's in the upper right-hand corner.
Love that.
That. I know how they feel.
So you watched some basketball last night.
I shouldn't say watched it. It was on, and I asked about it. I'm like, because I even said, I'm like, oh, I thought they must be doing it differently this year than they normally do, because I thought it was like a late weekend thing. From the brother and sisterhood, what kind of asking would it be if it was old-timey underpants?
Bloomer asking.
What about if it gave haircuts to dogs?
Groomer asking.
Excellent.
God dang.
Excellent.
Am I the greatest?
Very, very good.
Well, the hints are great, too. All right. Maybe we will. We should try to turn that into something at one point or another. Try to turn it into a competition.
With a $100,000 cash prize.
Oh.
We got a lot of that laying around.
That's very obvious.
Let's get the hell going then, by damn. Like we were saying, expect to hear some special guests this morning. Janelle Klein, even though she comes in every week, she'll always be special. Glen Perkins. And then later on, Top Flight. AEW Tag Team Top Flight. Darius and Dante Martin from right here in Minneapolis. They got a show tomorrow night. They want to tell us all about it. We'll take a break. We'll come right back on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
If you're listening to sports,
how the Chiefs react to this loss will be fascinating.
Mixed with pop culture, sprinkled with celebrity interviews.
True or false, Kevin Bacon, for your role in Footloose. You attended classes at a high school.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman. What was it like working with Gene Hackman?
He came up in one scene and whispered in my ear, I'm going to hurt you. I believed him.
And you're enjoying the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Speaking of podcasts,
follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right. You're a damn fine crowd. We don't want to make you wait on today's Stupid News report because I'm sure you got things to do. Let's begin with a guessing game. Doctors at a hospital in China had to go ahead and help a guy out recently. So, Dana Smashley, if you don't know the story, can I have you go ahead and guess?
I think I know this one.
You know the story?
Ashley knows it.
All right, Dana.
Mm-hmm. I bet it has to do with his wiener.
Pardon me?
I bet it has to do with his wiener.
Well, just hang on now.
You need more info. You're the worst investigator ever.
651-989-9393 also. You can go ahead and guess. Send in your guesses along with Dana. Dude needed medical attention. So guy goes into a hospital in China. He needed medical attention after his girlfriend's hand got stuck in his what? 651-989-9393. I'll give you a minute or two to guess. Dana, you can think about it for a while. Dude needed medical attention after his girlfriend's hand got stuck in his what?
It's the stupid news, so it's got to be his butt then, right?
All right, Dana's going with butt. I have quite a few similar guesses on the text machine already. Nipples is another guess, that his girlfriend got her hand stuck in his nipples. It's been about 80% B-hole. Okay, belly button, nose, urethra.
Belly button, that'd be hard to pull off.
Ouch.
Oh, I know someone that's got one big enough that you could put your hand in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know someone with a belly button big enough to put a fist in?
Well, that's being a little, I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's pretty giant. You could put a roll of quarters halfway in, I bet.
Oh. So is it a lady?
No, it's a guy.
Oh, wow. This is an interesting guess. A listener guessed that his girlfriend got her hand caught in his ball hair.
Quite the forest.
His beard, his back hair. A lot of guesses for the backyard. I'll give you the answer. There are a few correct guesses here via the text machine. Dana, you are incorrect with the butthole. Dude needed medical attention after his girlfriend's hand got stuck in his mouth, his yapper, his dome giver, his cake eater.
I know a gentleman who, in the process of making love, was briefly stuck in the lady he was with.
Is that right?
Yeah. She clamped down to the point where they started to kind of panic. And they worked their way out of there, but it was like an ordeal for a little bit.
Wow, imagine if they would have had to go into the emergency room.
There was a fear that was going to happen.
Just locked into
Yeah.
that.
And she said it had happened before, and she doesn't really know why, if it's nerves or what it is.
Some kind of muscle reaction.
Yeah, spasm of some
muscular spasm. Great guess, ball hair. Appreciate that when discussing this guy who got his hand stuck. Pardon me, his girlfriend's hand stuck in his mouth. Ball hair was one guess. Did you guys ever see the movie Reno 911, the movie?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I've never even seen the show.
I never cared for the television show. I tried it once or twice, didn't care for it. Somehow, some way, many years ago, I went ahead and watched the movie, and I also didn't care for it. But there was one hilarious scene where a guy and a gal cop, because the characters are cops in Reno, Nevada, if I'm not mistaken, right? Reno 911? Yep. Okay. A guy and a gal cop are having a tryst in a hotel room, Josh. This was the only scene that I laughed at. And the man gets his wristwatch caught in her pubic hair. Now, that was a very, very funny scene.
Did they show it, or is it just alluded to?
No, it's just, was
That's probably better.
Proper positioning.
Yeah.
But, they need to go to work, or they don't need to be seen like this, having sex. They're coworkers. They don't want any of their coworkers to find them out. But they're in an emergency situation now because his wristwatch has become tangled in her pubic hair.
Cleavage to Beaver Jesus said his brother is on Reno 911. His name is Jones on the show. Do you remember Jones?
No recollection of
remember.
any
I
of the
remember
characters'
names other than Terry, the roller skating
Right.
prostitute.
And that's Nick Swartzen, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I got to look that up.
All right. Here we go. Back to our first stupid news story of the day. Dude's girlfriend, her hand got stuck in his mouth. Now, the doctors who dealt with this situation, they upped and said this was a first for them. The girlfriend got her filthy wipe hand, by the way, stuck in her boyfriend's mouth while they were trying to film a funny video for that godless, soulless, and terribly inaccurate social media. There are video clips and photos of the two of them all over the silly internet. Apparently, they tried to see if the woman's hand was small enough to fit in her boyfriend's mouth. Simple as that, I guess. So she managed to stuff her fist in his yap hole just fine. But it was when she tried to back her hand out of there, that was when they ran into trouble. They tried everything, lube, but the boyfriend remained fisted. According to the story, the dude was drooling all over the apartment.
I'll bet.
He was making the death gurgle. His jaw muscles were fighting back, so more and more his teeth were stabbing into her hand.
Oh, this is making my TMJ hurt. I can't.
I was thinking of you because you have issues.
TMJ?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly, I don't know what it stands for, but all I know is that my jaw pops every time I open up my jaw. Sometimes when I chew, it does too, but yeah, and it's gotten stuck open before.
Yeah, stuck open, that's the...
So is that lockjaw?
I think that's exactly what that is.
And it's so painful, and it sucks because I was telling you over the weekend, Nick, that I can't sleep on my back anymore. The doctor said pregnant people aren't supposed to, something about arteries and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I've been having to sleep on my sides, and on one side the TMJ is a lot worse, and I've just been waking up with the worst migraines because of it.
You have lockjaw. Your jaw gets locked open. That does sound terrible.
I like to freak people out. I like to freak people out and have them like put their finger right where my jaw moves, and then move my jaw. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, how do you live like that?"
I would like
to feel the clicking.
Yeah.
I would like to try that. I also, or I should say, my jaw also pops quite loudly when I chew.
Constantly, or
not
like I've only had it happen a couple times.
Not every time, but probably every other time I eat, my jaw pops with every bite. No, but 2 days ago, I'm walking around the house like a big dumb animal with a sandwich in hand, and I walked into a room, and my wife is sprawled out on the couch watching a television program, and I just kind of stood there talking to her while I'm eating this sandwich, and she says, "What is that noise?" "Is that your jaw popping?" And I said, "Yeah, you never noticed that before?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, yeah, it happens." And then she asked me to leave the room while I eat the sandwich because the sound of my jaw popping was too disturbing for her. I said, "Well, Jesus, excuse me for having a problem."
Is yours loud, Ashley?
No one's ever called me out on it.
Yeah, I have the same problem. So here we go.
It sounds miserable.
You don't even notice it. You hear it, but and there's a little bit of a different feeling, Josh, but there's no pain at all, no discomfort at all.
You get used to it.
I know a kid who would make snack money freshman year of high school because he could fit his whole fist in his mouth.
And he was able to...
I tried that so many times, I can't even get close.
He was able to back it out nicely?
Oh, yeah. Everything. He could. It was super easy for him.
Never got it stuck?
He never went without a Snickers, ever. People would give him money to do it.
So here's this gal again with her fist stuck in her boyfriend's mouth. She said after this ordeal was over, she said, "Saliva ran down my wrist all the way to my elbow, and it felt like my hand was stuck in a meat grinder." Like I said, the guy's body is going to react, and so his jaw was trying to close and clamping down harder and harder on her fist. Interesting to read here that one part of the procedure to correct this issue was once they got these two idiots into an isolated room there at the hospital, the doctors went ahead and played what they call here soothing music to calm everybody down. Maybe some air supply or something. From there, the doctors borrowed a speculum from the gynecologist next door, and they pried dude's hole open after they loosened him up with a muscle relaxer, is how they say it. And now doctors all around the world are warning people not to jam your fist or anyone else's fist into your cake hole.
Sounds painful. Having that just stuck open like that for so long.
Ouch.
I think I'd be more embarrassed if I was the girl in that situation. If my hand's the one stuck in somebody else's mouth.
Yeah, I mean, flip a coin there, but sure. Better than Dana at Mario Kart, Jesus has texted in. He wants to guess what type of sandwich I was eating the other day when my jaw was popping so badly. He's guessing. He's going to go ahead and guess. Ham sandwich.
I could kill a lady.
What movie? Austin Powers. Thank you for calling back to that bit. I always had fun with that one. Jimi Hendrix. drugs. Janis Joplin, alcohol. Mama Cass, ham sandwich. All right, obviously this gimmick isn't going to work here in the Midwest, but if you're in Ghana, wherever the hell that is, there's a chance somebody might fall for it. Ghana, I believe, is all jungly and rainforesty. So this bit, like I said, it has a chance. A dude out that way painted his damn dog to make it look like a tiger to keep loan officers from shaking him down at home.
This looks nothing like a tiger.
If you don't see the head, maybe you could believe it's like a small tiger, but I'm with you, Ashley.
You got to admit, though, because I saw pictures, too, of this tiger dog. You got to admit that this guy did a solid job with the striping and the coloring.
The striping looks good. The coloring, yeah, that was born that way, but it doesn't look like a tiger.
This dude in his 30s by the name of Kofi. 3 years ago, Kofi borrowed a pile of money from some finance companies and such, but the shady prick has refused to pay him back. So because he's a deadbeat, low-life bastard, he's got loan officers coming to the house looking to shake his ass down for some of that money. So he held his dog down and painted stripes and whatnot on the damn thing. So when the loan officers show up to kick his ass, he releases his, quote, tiger on them in hopes that they run for their lives.
This is just ridiculous.
I don't know a lot about tigers, but that thing's barking at me, chasing its tail, and rubbing its butt on the carpet.
And his neighbors do say, though, that the tiger dog bit was somewhat believable, at least according to one neighbor. Said, I thought it was a real tiger. I was terrified. I couldn't pass in front of his house again. I changed my regular route, but now we know it was just a painted-up dog.
Oh, I wouldn't admit that.
Well,
but again, this is Ghana.
I could see, right, where maybe it's not that uncommon. I don't know how common they are there. But I could see if it's running. You know, you're not going to stay there long enough to figure out what's running at you. You see the stripes, and maybe you think that's a tiger. The most adorable tiger of all time.
The dog does look very cute, if, in fact, that's the exact dog that was shown in the article. Other folks said the dog also had a believable deep growl. So the dog was really getting into character when called upon. Hell, this Kofi guy is such a crooked prick that even the owner of the shop he bought the paint from to paint the dog, even that shop owner is after him for some outstanding debts. This guy, he just doesn't think he needs to pay anybody for anything. Who does this guy think he is? So word is Kofi is currently on the run. Everybody wants to get even with the bastard. No word on if he brought his tiger dog with him. I think that dog should be taken away. Give that to someone who can give it a friggin' normal life, for Christ's sake.
Absolutely.
Do we have photos of the tiger dog on 93x.com? It's very intimidating.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm too scared to look.
You're going to have nightmares, Dana. Don't do it.
The tiger dog. All right, come on with this nonsense. Says here the most expensive dog in the world was sold recently. And some wacko paid $5.7 million in trade for a dog. And I bet it's still going to spray diarrhea on his carpeting.
Very cute. That's up on 93x.com, too.
Yeah, cool-looking dog, but I don't get it.
No, this is ridiculous.
It does look super cool. I want to give it pets.
They say this effing dog is a first of its kind. It's a cross between an actual wolf and something called a Caucasian shepherd, whatever that is.
Sounds kind of cool.
An Indian dog enthusiast is what they call the buyer. An Indian dog enthusiast handed over the $5.7 million for this wolf dog. The rarest dog in the world.
This thing's paws are insane. They're so big.
It's 8 months old. It already weighs over 165 pounds and is 30 inches tall. This dog is known, even though I guess it's brand new, but somehow they know that this dog is very protective and intelligent. Now I sound like I'm emceeing the Westminster Dog Show over it. They say it'll make for a good watchdog. For $5 million, Josh, this dog better be able to write me a hit single.
Yeah, I know someone who trained his dog to get him beer out of the fridge, and he didn't pay much for that dog at all. I mean, at $5.7 million, you're right. You'd expect him to drive you around or something.
This dog better be able to negotiate me a threesome with Britney Spears and Justine Bateman. I bet you didn't expect me to say Justine Bateman.
No.
I did not see that coming whatsoever.
From Family Ties. I saw pictures of the dog. We all did. It looks prepared to kill at any moment. At least one picture I saw of it led me to believe that it is prepared to kill. But they must really love dogs in India. It says here this wacky prick who dumped almost $6 million for a damn wolf dog. He puts on shows all over town where mere mortals get to look at all the dogs he owns. They pay the guy big dollars for that. He just shows up. Here are all my expensive dogs. People pay him to look at his dogs.
I hope they have a good life.
The douche rich dog guy also says this. He says, my dogs and I get more attention than an actor at a movie screening. This dog better be able to, Josh, it better be able to crap me rolls of Skoal long cut.
Gross.
Throw that in the yapper.
This dog doesn't care how much he's worth. He's just out here vibing. I'm worth how? Oh, okay, cool.
I don't like the vibe.
You don't like his vibe?
Don't like the vibe.
But his little tongue is out.
Yeah, because he wants to taste my flesh.
He does look. He does look
Oh,
very
there's
terrifying.
one photo where he's terrifying looking.
Oh, really? I've only seen the adorable one.
It's half wolf, for Christ's sake. Half.
Well, the other half, the shepherd part, I thought like the Russians used to use them in the military or something like that. They're protective dogs for sure.
I don't want a dog that's an eighth wolf.
Oh, yeah. The Caucasian shepherd dog is used to protect property and livestock.
They'll kill you dead.
Yeah, there's a book series I'm reading where they have some of those in there.
Oh, you can watch videos of them fighting.
Oh.
I'll pass on
Yeah,
that.
no, thanks. Thanks, though, Ashley.
The number one dog lover in the county is going to watch dog fight videos now?
He's fighting a wolf. I guess, yeah, that would probably still make me sad. You're right. I'm going to skip that. I am having a weird day today, too. Very emotional. I don't need to watch that.
You need to get off of michaelvick.com and come back to the show.
For a second there, you really didn't understand what you were saying. She looked dead into my eyes and said, oh, he's fighting a wolf. And then suddenly it dawned on you, oh, no, I don't want to watch that.
I can't even watch a movie or a TV show with a dog.
No.
Even if they're not going to die. I'm like, at one point, they're going to be inconvenienced and I'm going to cry.
I bet you damn near walked into traffic when you saw Who Framed Molly and Me or whatever the hell that was called.
Dude, Marley and Me?
Marley and Me.
That messed me up.
Never saw it.
Never watch it. Ever.
I don't even know what it's about.
It's a dog that.
puppy.
That's all I know. There's a dog involved.
Yeah, his tummy
I guess
flips.
that's all I know, too.
I dated a Marley, and she said that was the worst. That movie and that book is the worst thing that's ever happened. Just because she gets it Yep, like the movie with the dog. Yep. Mm.
Ashley probably doesn't even like it when Cujo checks out.
No.
All right. Friggin' Russians, man. It's always a problem with them. This headline sounds very Russian to me. Says here, a man ended up with kidney failure after doing 2,000 squats to win a bet. At least in the movies, there are two types of people in Russia. Type 1 is a stumbling, filthy, zombie-like drunk who lives in a spider hole and drinks mouthwash out of a rubber glove. And type 2 is some kind of cyborg-looking, bizarro super athlete that can't reason or even feel the slightest bit of sympathy for his opponent. That's what I see. And it sounds like here we have one of those Russian cyborg super athletes.
They also have that twerk team, which made some headlines not too long ago.
Thank you for reminding me of the Russian twerk team. My damn, The first time I saw them on YouTube, I said to myself, I didn't know women could do that.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Oh, my damn.
My afternoon just got a lot busier.
All right, so a Russian kid in his early 20s told doctors that everything went sideways after winning a bet with a friend who challenged him to do 2,000 squats in a set period of time. I'm not sure how long this kid had to pump out 2,000 squats. I think 2,000 squats in a lifetime sounds fair.
Yeah, that's a lot of squats even in a lifetime.
We could maybe ask the Martin brothers later on this morning. AEW Tag Team Top Flight featuring Dante and Darius Martin will be coming in studio. They got a show in town in a couple of days, tomorrow night. Squats are a regular workout for wrestlers. I'm picturing, no weight on your back, just that, this move, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. The older I get, the closer I get to that if I'm ever doing squats. Just nothing on my back.
Right. I tried that once. I tried doing squats like the wrestlers do, just to burn some calories, I guess. I don't even speak this language, but it was a workout that I attempted once.
Yeah.
Well, you like to have yoked quads.
Ooh, and my legs were cooked so quickly I gave up maybe after one day.
I used to do, when I was really into working out a couple of years ago, I used to do about 120 would be the minimum I would want to do if it was leg day.
In a day.
Yeah.
Squats?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, ask the Martin brothers how many squats.
But women naturally have just like stronger legs.
I've heard
we
that.
can do that kind of stuff.
They do, huh?
Doesn't bother us as much.
That's because you kick so much ass, right, ladies?
Oh yeah, totally.
I was telling Ashley yesterday, I believe it was, that my arms and legs were sore from playing about 4 or 5, 6 games of darts over the weekend. So that's where I'm at athletically right now. Turning 40 here in a couple months.
That's a lot of standing.
I know.
So, again, kid goes through with a bet, and he won the bet. His friend challenged him to do 2,000 squats in a set period of time. We don't know how much time he had to complete that task. But after completing the challenge, the kid saw that his already massive Russian legs were all swole up, and they hurt like hell. And the next time he took a squeege, the coloring was off. It was brown. And then before you know it, he couldn't take a whiz if he tried. Doctors looked under the hood. They saw he had something or another called rhabdomyolysis or something close to that. His kidneys, huh?
Phenomena.
Na. His kidneys had gone to hell on him, is what happened. So, he did a year's worth of gold medal Greco-Roman Olympic squats into a short period of time. His kidneys went to hell on him. They were only functioning at 50%, the doctors said.
I wonder if squats is responsible for the most inadvertent pant pooping of all the exercises you can do.
I bet it's up there for sure.
Well, yeah. I'm
I
not.
mean, you're exerting yourself in a lot of different, obviously, exercises.
With weight on your back?
Yeah, but I wonder if squats are in the top 3. I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
'Cause
say
you're getting
top 3.
in the position.
Yeah.
So you're talking, Ashley, about how sad the movie Marley and Me is?
Yes.
The Marley being the dog. Air Fitter, Jesus. Is it Fitter or Filter? I need glasses now. Filter. Said Marley and Me was a great movie, but he especially loved the sequel, Me.
Jeez, dude. Oh, that's good though. Wow.
Credit where credit's due there.
That was good.
It's outstanding. So this kid is damaged goods now. Even though he's just a 20-year-old kid, it's going to take him months to recover from this. It's not mentioned also anywhere here in the story what kind of prize he won from winning his bet and whether or not it was worth laying in a hospital bed pissing blood for a few months like a damn 80-year-old man.
Not squats, but push-ups here for this story. I have a friend, she's very athletic, and she would win money back in the day, win money or free drinks by challenging dudes to a push-up contest at the bar. Because she's a small little thing. Oh, there's no way you can do more push-ups than me. And then she would get down and she'd rep out like 80 without even breaking a sweat, and then, drunk doofus
80, wow.
would get down and then, fall apart at 17 or 18.
Gross. I hate push-ups.
You never challenge the tiny people.
Yeah, they don't have much to work with.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
What, you don't understand, that I would never fall for that. Tiny little people, guys or girls, they can do all kinds of pull-ups, push-ups because they weigh 102 pounds.
Yeah, they don't have the weight hold them down.
All right, before we go, a video cut loose a day or two ago. A video of two grown men fighting over who was in line first at something called a Pokemon vending machine. There was aggressive pushing and shoving and shouting between these two fully grown adult men.
It's one of the dumber videos I've seen in a while.
What's been going on with this lately? I've noticed, even in my personal life, that people are more going crazy about Pokemon.
I don't know.
All over again. Is there some new cards that got released?
New sets of cards came out recently, and people have been lining up at Costco to buy them all up to flip them on, the internet.
And that was the case here, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
same deal.
Wonderful.
Oh, cool. A TikTok content creator, you guys. A TikTok content creator called Dinkus, let's call him. He posted the video clip. He was trying to buy himself some Pokemon cards from a vending machine, Summers. The San Francisco area, I believe, if that matters at all to you. The Pokemon vending machine had just been restocked, so the excitement level was immeasurable. And then some other jagoff walked up on Dinkus, and that guy said he should get first crack at the cards because he's been waiting in his car all day. Or something ridiculous like that, right? So the two men pushed and shoved each other. As far as I could see, no punches were thrown. What it looked like to me, Josh, was the world's worst basketball power forwards trying to battle for position on the low post.
Yeah, but one of the guys doesn't understand they're playing a game. The other dude's just boxing him out, and the guy that was at the front of the line was so confused.
Was he confused?
He kept his composure really well. I thought for sure a punch was going to be thrown, but that never happened, at least in the video I saw.
A store employee nearby the Pokemon vending machine had to get involved, and I'm sure that was the last effing problem she wanted to deal with at the time. She must have been saying, are you two effing serious? I got a hangover, and now I got to peel two grown men apart who are fighting over first crack at whatever Pokemon cards are. Dinkus claims that eventually police showed up and arrested the other dork. And like you guys were just explaining, these two characters, Dinkus and the guy who said, I was parked outside all morning long in my car, they were both called out on social media as being Pokemon card flippers, and that angers the social media people. And it says here, Ashley, in the last few years, and especially the last few months, Pokemon cards have become more valuable and sought after than ever before, and this has led to card supply shortages, people fighting over new cards, thieves targeting stores, and prices for rare cards exploding online. I never saw that coming, Josh.
Nope. I can't imagine being involved in that, but I guess for some people, that's a business.
I had some buddies that were really into it, and one of them...
For the which part? For the money aspect or because they enjoyed the game?
A little bit of both, but I had one of them finally had the big break, found a card that was worth an insane amount of money, or a whole pack, I think it was. It was
Cheetos
crazy.
art?
I was so happy for him, and then he ended up blowing all of it. So,
The money?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just as sad an ending to a story as I hear Marley and Me is.
Man.
Where there's just no getting around it. It's just sad as all hell.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Kurt Suzuki is in to catch, and he is catching Glen Perkins, the local guy, in to close it. Oh, chopper to second. Picked up by Kinsler, and the AL wins it. A final of 5-3. Perkins gets the save, and the AL wins.
I'll tell you what, later on this morning, we're going to talk to Glen Perkins, former Twin, former Golden Gopher, former Stillwater Pony. Now he's calling games for the Twins on television. We're going to talk to Glen later on today, our first conversation of the Twins season. And I mean to tell him that as a lifelong Twins fan, that was one of my fondest memories. Of course, you got to go with 1987 and 1991, and then this and that and this and that. I've got, like anyone else who's been following the Twins their entire lives, I've got some favorite memories. That was one of them. To see Glen Perkins at Target Field, All-Star Game, 20-14, get the save for the American League with his catcher, Kurt Suzuki, behind the plate. I just thought that was a perfect moment in time.
Would 100% agree. That was awesome.
And you know what? I'm going to tell him about it when we talk to him at 7:30. And I hope his response is something close to this. Don't care.
Oh, I'd love that.
I hope he gives me one
Jay
of those.
Cutler?
I hope he gives me a Jay Cutler, because I'm sure he's heard it before. Glen Perkins in a half hour along with Janelle Klein and Randy Shaver. Not a good night for our local clubs. The Pigs and Wolves both got pumped, but like everyone was anticipating, the Golden Gopher Basketball Club, the men's club, has a new coach. They went right out and signed that flippin' Nico Medved, whatever the hell his name, from Colorado State. He's a local guy. I'm sure we'll get into that conversation, too. He's very excited to take the job. Like I said, Randy Shaver, Janelle Klein, Glen Perkins in a half hour. Don't go anywhere because Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Hi, I'm Joe Salciha, host of the Stacking Benjamin Show. We are diving into what should be in your little emergency go bag. What goes into your financial go bag?
Passport, driver's license, social security card.
Cash, credit cards, my wallet.
The most important thing, your master password.
OG just gave us the guns. That's all he needs.
Meaning the bicep.
Come and get them.
You never knew personal finance could be this fun. What's a big can of Colt 45 cost?
Stackers Anonymous. Is that about $3.50?
That's what
Dr. Pepper.
Like go bag. Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Isn't that a religious show? With all the Jesus and Sheezus talk?
Oh, hell no.
Just kidding. They suck.
93X. Mr. Vollmer, is there anything that you want to say in defense of yourself with these actions?
I'm sorry, at this time we're going to have no comment, but I appreciate you asking.
Is there anything you want to say to all those women down there?
No comment.
Is there anything you want to say about what these women accuse you of recording them without their consent during sex?
I'm going to have no comment at this time. Thank you very much.
He even sounds like a douchebag.
Big time.
Yeah.
A 31-year-old Nashville perv appeared in court Thursday facing 4 women who accused him of secretly recording them during intimate moments using a hidden camera disguised as an alarm clock in his bedroom.
Dude.
The twisted setup unraveled last June when one of the women stumbled upon a disturbing discovery. Hundreds of video files stored on a device showing different women, herself included, engaging in all kinds of sexual activity, the stuff we'd all be lucky to get. But none of them knew they were being filmed. The man behind the camera clock was identified as Matthew Vollmer, who's now being clock-blocked in court. When I looked through the computer, there were around 350 files, the detective said. This wasn't some accidental footage from a home security system, said the assistant DA. This was a deliberate setup, an alarm clock camera hidden and aimed right at the bed, recording women without their knowledge while Vollmer had sex with them.
What kind of comments does the guy have about this?
He has no comment.
No comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to have one single comment. Investigators found 14 folders on the device, 12 labeled with first names, one simply called hookups.
Yuck.
Each clip had been saved in 10-minute edited segments. While the charges currently involve 4 women, authorities say there are many more videos dating back for years, but that's beyond the reach of the statute of limitations, so he's going to get away with that.
That sounds filthy.
You know, there's people that would let you record that.
Yes.
I mean, just save it for them.
And you say he was getting some of the good stuff, too.
I guess, yeah. Sounds like he was pretty successful. There's a neighborhood in the Twin Cities whose likely now former mail carrier liked to party a little too hard, but now she's been returned to sender with a first-class ticket to jail. The 36-year-old postal worker is accused of being high on meth when she rear-ended another car in her mail truck late Friday morning in New Brighton. According to court documents, police were called to the scene of a rear-end collision about 10:56 a.m. Friday. This involved a postal service vehicle which slammed into another car. And it was a bad sign when authorities received information from a post office supervisor saying that they should check the driver because she's a drug user and should probably be checked on.
What's the old slogan? Rain, snow, meth rocks. Yeah.
At the scene, officers say she didn't do herself any favors during sobriety tests, failing the walk and turn, failing the one-leg stand, eye movements, which matched signs of meth use. She was arrested for DWI, and during a search, they opened her lunchbox and found something frowned upon in the USPS lunchroom. A white powdery substance, which lab results confirmed was meth. I'd love to know if it was some sort of theme.
Friggin' lunchbox, yeah. What's that television show again you guys love so much with all the meth?
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, she's got a Breaking Bad lunchbox.
Despite the evidence, the woman insisted she hadn't used any drugs and blamed her behavior on being very sleepy, claiming she only had 3 hours of sleep the night before, but she did cop to using drugs in the past.
Charging documents say the driver had watery eyes with a dazed glaze, very droopy eyelids, and admitted to using meth a few days earlier. Investigators believe her drug use was more recent. They found drugs in her car.
Frankie V there, total pimp. Now she's facing multiple charges, which could add up to over 5 years behind bars and $11,000 in fines if convicted. Her first court appearance is scheduled for this morning.
She was delivering mail for a living.
Yeah, she was.
I always thought that sounded like a cool gig.
Yeah, I wonder. I delivered papers and I loved it. As a matter of fact, I used to listen to you on an old morning show when I delivered papers.
Ask me, did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
You shouldn't have enjoyed it.
Well, I loved one portion of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it?
I work with the guy now.
You adorable little soon-to-be 50-year-old peckerhead, you.
I have a friend that's a mail woman, and she absolutely loves it.
I love our mail guy.
She gets her steps in. She likes that part.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I mean, I just got done saying it always looked to be a cool gig. Now, I've never done it, so maybe there's a mail carrier or two listening that would tell me different. I'm glad to hear that your friend enjoys it. Sucks that this gal threw away what I believe to be a cool gig because she couldn't put down the meth rocks.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, hopefully this is a wake-up call for her and she gets some help. I mentioned before, I love our mail guy, Craig. He's the best.
Do you ever say this? Do you ever go, there go Craig right there?
You know,
ever say that?
I do. When he goes, sometimes I'll say that if we're going to run something out to him. Like every once in a while we'll get him gift cards because he works his ass off.
Where Craig at?
Craig is, he's always running around like crazy. So I wonder if that can kind of suck. I mean, maybe some folks that do that for a living can let us know. Certainly delivery drivers. My word. You just see them running
they're
their ass
hustling.
off. A police chase through Connecticut ended Thursday with a crash and an arrest after a 33-year-old woman rammed two state police cruisers and tried to outrun troopers again. Began about 3 p.m. A trooper spotted a Subaru Legacy in Norwich, which was missing its front license plate and drifting out of its lane. A quick check revealed the driver was wanted on an active warrant tied to a previous police pursuit. She liked to run from cops. The trooper followed the car to a gas station where additional units arrived. Given the woman's prior history with fleeing officers, they boxed her in to trap the vehicle, but she refused to surrender.
If I had a Subaru, I'd go for it too. You know what I mean?
When troopers broke a rear window to reach her, she reversed into one cruiser, backed into a fuel pump, then accelerated into a second squad, managing to create just enough space to escape. She sped off, but didn't get too far. While trying to take a sharp turn, she wasn't very good at it, crashed into a guardrail. Then she took off on foot, but they found her pretty quick, hiding under a deck. Alongside her, they discovered suspected narcotics
a big deck.
And drug paraphernalia. Yeah, what if it was like, she's so dumb, it was like a second floor deck. She's just standing next to one of the posts. They'll never find me, idiot pigs. Even in Canada, folks are flipping out over relatively minor disputes. That shatters the stereotype.
Oh, is that right? They're catching a little bit they're catching a little bit of what we've got.
I guess.
That sucks.
A 30-year-old woman in Winnipeg was seriously injured after an incident over a parking spot turned violent. According to police, the woman was standing in an open parking stall Saturday about 2:30 p.m. This was at a local recreational facility. She was going to save that spot for a family member, or so she thought. Another driver pulled up and demanded the space. An argument broke out and things escalated. Police say the driver suddenly accelerated into the spot, hitting the woman and knocking her to the ground. She became trapped under the front tires of the SUV.
Oh, I would never want to be trapped under the front tires of anybody's SUV. That sounds horrifying.
Even more disturbing, authorities say the driver just left the scene without even checking on the injured woman. Emergency crews rushed the victim to the hospital. Luckily, she just had some lower body injuries, and she's going to be okay. Police have since arrested the 40-year-old woman and charged her with assault in connection to that incident.
Canadians are changing.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Authorities in Shoreview say a brush fire, which scorched more than 20 acres Saturday, was sparked by two kids playing with matches. The Shoreview Fire Department provided an update on Sunday, calling it a brush fire in a large open space in northern Shoreview, which was already spreading fast by the time crews arrived before 7 p.m. At times, the fire came dangerously close to several homes, the department said. Firefighters quickly moved to evacuate nearby townhomes as a precaution.
A lot of these open spaces, it's going to move quickly through that when we have dry conditions like we have right now. And so just trying to get ahead of it and get it cut off from continuing to spread.
Crews from 11 different fire agencies worked together for several hours to get the blaze under control. In the end, no homes were damaged, and thankfully, no one was injured. But I bet those kids are in more than a little bit of trouble.
Yep.
Just seen that happen. Oh, man. We're in for it now.
Playing with matches. Did any of you have or playing with fire in general, did you have a fascination with that as a young kid?
Certainly, definitely.
A fascination, definitely, but I never personally played with matches, but I got to be a spectator with friends that did. My parents hammered that into us when we were little.
They did.
I mostly enjoyed messing with candles, like putting the wax on your finger and letting it dry, and then like reheating it over the flame. But I'm like you, Josh. My mom really drilled that into me and my brothers when we were growing up because she had an incident when she was a kid. It was either her or her brother had something with matches, and they ended up burning down a garage.
Oh!
Yeah, it was awful. So there was no matches in the house.
When we became teenagers, I believe if a doctor would have gotten a hold of us, we would have been diagnosed with full-on pyromania. But when we were really little kids, I got interested in fire, and I would horse around with matches and lighters. That ended when I lit my thumb on fire on accident, and the pain woke me up, and I didn't really mess with fire much until we got into high school.
You actually lit it on fire?
Yes, it was an accident. I was playing around with my dad's disposable lighter, with the fluid up in there.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't realize that I had dumped all the fluid onto my thumb, and I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I had turned my thumb into, a very flammable item, and next thing it was just like that scene from friggin' Young Frankenstein.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, God, that hurt, and that I held off then again until I turned 16 or something.
When you were into pyromania?
Yeah.
No fooling. You really set your thumb on fire.
I did.
You did. A reference to Def Leppard. In the first 2 months of 2025, U.S. border officials seized a significant amount of fentanyl, but it pales in comparison to a surge in a surprising new form of contraband: eggs. While Custom and Border Protection reported 134 fentanyl busts between January and February, they cracked down on egg products 3,254 times in the first 2 months of the year, more than doubling the same period last year. The culprit, of course, sky-high egg prices, thanks to a relentless avian flu outbreak. The cost of a dozen eggs has nearly doubled since last year, and according to USDA forecasts, prices could climb another 41% by the end of 2025.
Wow.
Desperate times hatch desperate measures, but smuggling fresh eggs, raw chicken, and other unprocessed poultry into the U.S. is strictly illegal due to the rise of spreading disease, a concern heightened, of course, by the bird flu here.
It sucks, but eggs are one of those things where, they can really make it as much as they want. I'm not going to stop buying them. Same with gas. I'll complain about gas prices if they're high, but what am I going to do, not get gas?
You got to get gas so you can drive your motor vehicle. Have I ever told you about a friend of mine who, as a grown adult, will walk into a restaurant and order a Denver omelet without the onions and peppers?
No.
So a cheese omelet?
Well, a ham and cheese omelet specifically. But yeah, that's what I say that to him every time.
Why?
You can just order that. Yeah.
I don't get it, and we've had many arguments, the two of us.
Is it not? It's not the same.
I'll take a Denver omelet, hold the onions and the peppers.
A bacon bandit's been busted in a high school ham heist. In a news story, which sounds straight out of a sitcom, a 39-year-old West Virginia dad's been arrested for a bizarre case of bacon fraud at a high school meat competition. Cody Lucy is facing felony charges for pulling off a switcheroo with award-winning bacon at the West Virginia State Ham, Bacon, and Egg Show. Oh, how do you get tickets to that?
No kidding.
I do not know.
According to investigators, Lucy snatched a student's grand champion bacon, swapped it with a lower quality cut, and then passed the prize-winning pork off as his own son's. The plan worked. His son took home the grand champion title and sold that stolen bacon for $2,100. But Lucy wasn't lucky for long. Surveillance footage showed him rummaging through a box of sold meats, removing the original winner's tag, sticking it on his son's bacon, and retagging the real grand champion bacon with his son's old label. Meanwhile, the real winner's prize pork, now labeled as someone else's, sold for only $900. But again, his kid with the stolen bacon made $2,100 and won the contest.
They've got a bacon and egg contest out there.
I'd never heard of such a thing.
I want to be a part of that. I'll be the judge.
It sounds really, really, really boring.
How embarrassing to get caught in a bacon fraud scandal.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks.
At the Bath County History Museum in Kentucky, one exhibit consistently steals the show, drawing the longest lines, the most curious stares, and more than a few double takes. In the quiet town of Olympian Springs, Kentucky, chunks of raw meat mysteriously fell from the sky 148 years ago this month.
March 3rd, 1876, sometime between 11 and 12. It rained meat for a period of about 2 minutes.
It was the Kentucky meat shower, which is the exact type of joke the brother and sisterhood often text about my mother. Mary Crouch and her husband Alan were the first to witness it, believing it to be a sign from God. Today, one chunk of that mystery meat still exists, preserved in a jar at the Monroe Moonsick Medical and Science Museum in Lexington, a museum that also features such gems as a 19th century device for blowing smoke into the butts of drowning victims. True story.
What in the hell?
Needless to say, the meat shower has never been forgotten. In fact, the town recently held its very first meat shower festival. There's a lot of theories on what caused the event. At the time, Olympian Springs was home to a popular resort hotel, and some think the meat rain was a publicity stunt meant to drum up business. But the most widely accepted theory is vultures. Apparently, when startled, they sometimes vomit midair to lighten their load, which means the Kentucky meat shower was probably a mass vulture barfing incident, which is extra gross because some townsfolk admitted that they ate the sky meat.
No. Why?
Yeah.
Over the years, scientists have attempted to analyze it, but the sample's so saturated with formaldehyde, alcohol, and other preservatives, DNA testing is nearly impossible. But theories abound. They say the meat's origin could be anything from horse, deer, lamb, bear, or even human. Gross. Horse?
Yeah, that's sick. Hang on a second before you keep going. That's a great story. But also, I'd like to ask, why are we blowing smoke up the bottoms of dead drowning victims?
The story only mentioned, and I didn't research it further. I thought it was funny enough just there. But the story mentioned that that's true. That's how they used to try and save drowning victims.
To save someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick.
Or humiliate.
If you're ever drowning, you'll be thankful.
Or to humiliate them. I'm sorry, what did you say?
You'll be thankful for the smoke we blow up your butt if you ever in a drowning incident.
I mean, I know.
I wonder if that's where the slogan comes from.
Oh, no question about it.
Hey, quit blowing smoke up my, you know what.
Blowing smoke up my ass is a phrase people use when they think they're being lied to. When I have a minute, Josh, I'm going to look further into this. Well, I mean, I'm going to do it right friggin' now. Forget about this record game of Tetris I'm in the middle of. I got to look this up. Okay, go ahead, Coach.
Tonight, a special Dark Side of the Ring marathon will air on Vice TV as the lead into the debut episode of the Season 6 premiere dubbed Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell. Streaming today on Netflix, Chelsea Handler's comedy special, The Feeling. And tonight on Fox, the premiere of The Cleaning Lady Season 4.
Josh, do you mind if we get back to this blowing smoke up somebody's bottom?
No, I'm very curious.
Okay, according to something called Gizmodo, In England, 1746 is the first time this practice was used. A woman was unconscious. She almost drowned. Her husband suggested administering a tobacco enema to revive her. So, the man took a tobacco-filled pipe, inserted the stem into his wife's rectum, and blew a bunch of smoke up there. As strange as it may sound, it worked. The hot embers of the tobacco leaf jolted the wife back into consciousness, and the practice grew quickly from there. So it went on for years and years until I guess we were too sophisticated to blow tobacco smoke.
Just let me drown.
Up an anus.
If I'm ever in that position, just let me go. Comedian Nate Bargatze, 46 today. Got a couple shows coming to town this year. Elton John, 78. Shout out to Blue Truck Loading Jesus, listening in Carlsbad, California. Thanks for taking us with you. Italian firefighter Jesus texting a birthday shout out to his smoke show of a wifeski, Jill Doe Jesus. Happy birthday to Bearded Chicken Jesus from Dirt Slingin' Jesus. Happy birthday to our buddy James, our co-worker James, who we love very much. Happy birthday and have a great day to Bearded Chicken. Did I already do that one? From Honey Badger Jesus. Yes, he got 2 shout-outs. Another person texted in. Shout-out to Sprinkler Fitter Jesus. Have a happy birthday, young man, quote-unquote. From the old boy Gas Man Jesus. And that's 93X News.
And now a Minnesota Twins update. We're talking Twins with former All-Star closer, Glen Perkins.
Glen Perkins.
On 93X.
Play ball! Told you it was going to be busy today. Told you. Janelle Klein has already made herself comfortable here in studio.
Good
Hello,
morning.
Janelle.
Hello.
Darth Vader, Randy Shaver, as you can hear, is in the mix. Hi, Randy.
Darth? What do you mean Darth Vader?
Sometimes when you take a breath on the air, Randy Shaver, it sounds like the microphone is in your esophagus.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe your...
I'll try not to do that.
Your chest cavity. Try not to breathe.
Are you asking him not to breathe?
Try not to breathe. And we're very excited and honored to go ahead with our first conversation of the baseball season. Baseball season starts in 2 days. We're very excited about our first conversation of the season with Twins color commentator Glen Perkins. By the way, our conversations with Glen brought to you by Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Bring on Glen Perkins. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys, and thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to talking baseball this year.
I'll tell you what, long-time listener, first-time caller kind of a thing, huh, Glenn?
I have definitely listened in the past, and happy to be a part of the show. I think it's going to be really fun, and hopefully we'll have some positive things to talk about with this team this year, and see what happens.
No, we're excited to have you. We really appreciate you joining us, and, we also are hoping for great things from the Twins this season. How was spring training and everything for you, Glen Perkins?
Good. I've been down here just about a week now, kind of just seeing the tail end of it. I like that because it's hard to keep track of all the guys that aren't going to be on the team. It's hard enough for me to keep track of the guys that are on the team. So coming down late when the group is smaller and everybody's getting closer to being ready, it's been fun being down here and seeing the guys and seeing some baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they wrapped it up, yesterday? Something like that? Was their final?
I think today.
No, today is it. The Colorado Rockies last game today. They flew in from Arizona, got in, I don't know, sometime last night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and short turnaround. So game today at 1 against the Colorado Rockies. So that should be interesting. The last game of spring training is always quick. Everybody wants to just get out of here.
Yeah.
And I think especially a team that just landed 6 hours ago, they're probably not going to be too happy to be playing again. Who knows what's going to happen today?
Is that what you remember about spring training when you were a player? At the very end, you're just praying for it to be over.
Yeah. It's amazing how time stops down here, and yeah, I've only been down here for 6 days, and it feels like I've been down here for a month. There's something about the schedule of spring training that just drags on.
It's not just Florida itself, is it? Because See, Randy Shaver, Glen Perkins did it right. He only went down there for a week. Randy
Instead of 2 months?
You were there for 2 months, and you're never going back.
That's not true.
There's something about the schedule. It just it drags on. And so, yeah, by the end, everybody's trying to get out of here. And today, I remember a game, a final game of spring training. This is probably 2015-ish. And Kyle Gibson was supposed to throw like 5 innings. Maybe it was going to be like 75 pitches. Well, he ended up throwing like 7 innings because everybody was swinging as soon as they could. He was throwing like 6, 7, 8 pitches an inning. And like, I think today's game is going to take less than 2 hours, which would be great. I wouldn't hate if every game was like that, but no, the last game of spring training is always interesting. So
that's funny.
We'll
so guys were going up against Kyle Gibson and just closing their eyes and missing pitches. They just wanted to get the hell out of there.
Everybody is trying to get out as soon as they can. And like I'm telling you, they're swinging at the first pitch. They're swinging at the first strike they see.
All right.
So this isn't one of those days where you miss being a player, being active. You kind of look at these guys and go, I'm fine being on the other side of things today.
Yeah, well, I just want them to get done quick so I can get on the plane and get out of here too. We're all trying to get out of here, but no, it's just crazy. The last game of spring training, we've got a producer that hasn't produced games in a while coming with our new Twins.tv thing that we're doing, and I was telling him, like, be ready on that last day because things are going to be moving quick. Like the game moves faster with the pitch clock right now, but when guys are swinging every pitch, like we're gonna be flying today. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a quick one and we can get on our way to St. Louis.
There you go.
Are there any positions, Glenn, that still need to be decided, or is everything all set? And what's your feeling about the lineup, minus guys like Royce Lewis, who will be on the IL, Brooks Lee, who will be on the IL to start?
Yeah, the position player side got finalized yesterday. They were waiting. Mickey Gasper got a gash on his foot or his ankle against the Red Sox on Sunday. He checked out okay yesterday with stitches, and so they finalized the position player side of the roster. The pitcher side, there's still one spot left, and I think that they wanted to keep that spot. They're going to see what comes about on the waiver wire. I'm not sure how that'll work out. If they want to get another lefty, I could see that, but there's one spot left in the bullpen. I think they've named the 5 starters. They've got 7 of the 8 guys that they're going to have in the bullpen, so they're probably just trying to figure out if it's going to be a guy that's in the organization or is there a guy that's going to pop up on waivers over the next day or two that they'll pick up. So the last spot in the bullpen is the last one, and that's it. So they're ready to go there. The lineup, it's different. I mean, it's going to be different. I think the big story here late has been Matt Wallner in the leadoff spot, not your typical, kind of speed guy that sets up the rest of the lineup. I think they want him up there to get on base for Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton. And that's kind of how it's played out here as camp has wound down. Not having Royce is a bummer. I mean, we've seen what he can do when he's healthy, and so that's unfortunate. Hopefully Byron and Carlos will be able to stay healthy and get the plate appearances that they're expecting this year. And I know Carlos has been healthier than Byron has historically, so hopefully we'll see him not have to deal with the plantar fasciitis this year and all those things. And Buck has looked great this spring. I've seen him hit 2 home runs in the last 5 days. This is the first healthy winter he's had since 2017. So those kind of things, positives. Hopefully Royce see him again at some point and he can make an impact, but you got to find other guys to step up, and so that's kind of where they're at. Brooks Lee was that guy. I think he was going to make the team until he got hurt once Royce Lewis went down. So it's kind of that next man up mentality. You don't want to do that going into spring training or going out of spring training into the regular season, but that's where they're at. So we'll see how everything shakes out.
All right, we're talking with Glen Perkins here about the upcoming Twins season. You're a former pitcher. You went through the lineup now. Talk to us a little bit about the pitching staff that we got on hand this year.
I think the bullpen is, as of right now, is projected to be the best bullpen in baseball, and I don't think that's a stretch at all. I think starting at the back with Duran and Jax, I think Griffin Jacks is one of the best relievers in the game. And then obviously Joan Duran is overpowering when he's on. Seen him throw twice down here. He's 101 miles an hour. He looks good. He's in shape. And then they have depth. Brock Stewart went down, but they've got Louis Varland out there now, and he's throwing upper 90s to 100 miles an hour. Cole Sands has looked really good this spring, so that they've got enough guys down there. Danny Coulomb is another one they brought back, who pitched well yesterday. Justin Tolpa's finally healthy. He's a ground ball guy. I think maybe that kind of middle innings, get out of a jam type of guy. So they've got overpowering. They've got swing and miss. They've got ground ball. So I think the bullpen is in really good shape. And also those guys have been healthy. Griffin Jacks, Cole Sands, those guys haven't missed time in the last couple of years. So fingers crossed they stay healthy, but the bullpen looks like it's going to be really good and be able to shorten some games. On the rotation side, we've seen all these guys. There's nothing new there. Right. Pablo's going to start opening day. Joe Ryan's throwing game 2, Bailey Ober game 3. Chris Paddock, who's looked good in spring, again this year, he'll start the 4th game, and then Simeon Woods Richardson will start game 5. So we've seen all those guys. They're all capable major league pitchers. It's can they put together the type of season that we've seen them do for stretches? There's a chance. It all boils down to health. It really does. If they can stay healthy, they're going to be competitive and they're going to compete for the Central Division. I don't have any doubt in my mind.
There you go. You mentioned the pitch clock a minute ago. I'm sure you talked about these things last year, calling games with Corey Provis. I'm sure you did. I just don't remember. So what are your thoughts as a pitcher on some of the new rules the last couple of years, including the pitch clock? Which ones do you like? Which ones do you not like so much? If I remember right, when we talked to Dick Bramer the last couple of seasons, I think he was in favor of robot umpiring. Where do you stand on all those things, Glen Perkins?
Yeah, so I love the pitch clock. I'm not sure how I would have felt about it when I was a player. Mm-hmm. I think that might have been something that would have taken some time to get used to. But I love it for the game. It keeps the game moving. It really does. Much less delay, hitters stepping out, pitchers stepping off. All of that is gone. The game moves, which is good. I really enjoyed that. What was the second one you said? There was the
robot umpire.
Umpires.
I'll
Yeah.
get to the robot. There was one other one. What was it?
Oh, I think I don't remember if I mentioned anything specifically. I just said which of the new rules the last couple of years do you like? Are there any that you are not in favor of? Things like expanding the bases. What else are we missing, Randy Shaver?
No, I think the robot umpiring is obviously it's not going to be in the majors.
Not this year.
Not this year, but it's coming. I think people can see it coming.
Yeah, so every guy that's come up from the minor leagues has loved it because they've been doing it down there for a couple of years now, and everybody's loved it. The challenge system, and so they're trying it this spring, and I think that the players really like it. We've seen hitters challenge, we've seen catchers challenge so far this spring. Everybody just wants the calls to get right, and so we've seen a couple get overturned. We've seen more. I think the catchers when they challenge, they get it right. The hitters have a little bit less success from what I've seen so far. There will be strategy involved with that as well of catchers that know the strike zone and know when they can and what they should and shouldn't challenge. But it doesn't really slow the game down. And so I think that's really cool. It's been. I think I've seen. I don't know. We've done 2 games. I've watched a couple more. I've probably seen 5 or 6 challenges. It doesn't slow the game down at all. And sometimes they're blatantly obvious that they got them wrong, and so it's good to see that get corrected. I think that it's going to be in baseball next year. I think there's no question we'll have it in Major League Baseball next year, and I think everybody seems to really like it. It's funny. I was playing when they introduced instant replay, and the conversation is the exact same. It's the exact same conversation of, but people think it's going to slow the game down. People think that we want the human element, and nobody bats an eye at replay in any sport now. It's just a part of every sport, and this is the same. This is the same thing.
We'll get used to it. You're saying.
Yeah, the conversations are exactly parallel. Everybody gets used to it, and it's for the betterment of the game. The most important thing is getting the calls right.
I still don't like replay at all, Glen Perkins. I don't in any sport. But I will admit I was bothered by the pitch clock, the idea of it. And the first couple of games I watched with a pitch clock, I did not like it. But I got used to it, and now it doesn't even cross my mind. So you're right. Eventually we get used to it.
The first couple of games that I worked during the pitch clock, I found myself staring at the pitch clock a lot, and now I'm going to know where it is. So it just you kind of just get used to it and move on. And
you're just
I'm excited for the challenge system. I really am.
You're just watching the clock count down like it's New Year's Eve and not paying attention to.
That's what. Yeah, it was almost stressful for me at the beginning because I'm watching to see if a guy's going to get a pitch clock violation, and there's like one a game.
Right.
Well, and not only that, but for you as a broadcaster, that pitch clock, you have to pick and choose your moments to talk too, because the game there's not that much lag time anymore. So whatever you're going to say, you've got to say it, I guess in a more concise way in order to get your point in between pitches.
Yeah, you've got to get lucky with that. You've got to either be very quick with what you're trying to say, or you got to get lucky and hope a guy throws a couple balls in a row, or there's just like a foul ball. Because if a ball gets put in play, I got to hand it over to Corey. So, but you learn to get your points out fast, and yes, be concise is exactly it.
How is the television industry treating you, Glen Perkins?
I tell you what, I really love my job now. I've gotten to work with some awesome people. And see the game from a different perspective, I think has been really cool. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I hated New York City when we had to go play the Yankees.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I would go there, and the city is stressful. It's busy, and then I got to try to figure out how to get out a lineup of Hall of Famers. It's a lot more fun to go there when you don't have to worry about getting Aaron Judge out. That I can just go. I can go there and just watch the game. But to be able to travel, to be able to see all the cities and see the game from a different perspective, to meet, you get to meet new people and broadcasters from the other teams, I think it's been really awesome, and I've really enjoyed doing what I've been doing.
That's cool. You do a great job, and when we mentioned earlier that you were going to be joining us today, and hopefully for the rest of the baseball season. You got a lot of texts from fans, folks who loved you as a player and love you as an announcer. And a lot of them, Josh, I wonder if you noticed this, a lot of them said, hey, tell Glen Perkins, thanks for allowing himself to go gray.
There's some funny stories. Glenn, some funny stories have come in from texts, asking you questions, but also run-ins with you, in your time here. And this person says, went to a U of M pitching camp as a kid. I did some drills with Perkins. It's not his fault, but I still sucked afterwards, but I had a great time, and he was
You can't get through to all the kids, Glen Perkins.
No, they were very respectful, really enjoyed the time, wanted to thank you for giving them your time, but said you couldn't improve them. And a lot of people, Glenn, are texting in on confusion on how do they watch the Twins this year.
Yeah.
A lot of texts of people that aren't sure how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Twins update that are updating that pretty regularly. That's honestly, it's like it's confusing, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that. But the idea is you can download the MLB TV app, and Twins.tv is $100 for the entire season, $20 a month, every game, no blackouts. That's one option. That's the streaming option. The rest, they're still working out deals with the individual cable providers. So whatever you use to get cable, if and when, and I think it's more of a when they get this stuff finalized, it's going to be a channel right by the other sports channels. So by MLB Network, by FanDuel, by all of those, there's going to be a Twins.tv channel that you'll be able to click on, and then when the Twins are playing, our game will be on that station. And so I think the best thing to do right now is just check the Twins website, because they're updating that stuff as these deals come in. I know that they've reached deals with like 27 cable providers up in the upper Midwest, and so they're doing more every day. I think they're going to get the big ones by opening day. And so I think the best way to do it is to keep in touch with the Twins website because they're updating that as they reach new deals.
We'll find it.
Yeah,
we'll
much
get it
appreciated.
done. Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you and getting to know you this year. I mean, you're brand new, so you should know some things. You should get to Randy Shaver, who I'm sure you've known Randy for years, correct?
I have known Randy for a long time, yes. Him and I have crossed paths probably for 25 years now.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, on this radio show, you can get away with calling him the Ass Man.
Yeah. So, Randy, how long have you been on this show?
About 25 years. Well, probably more than that. Almost 30.
I remember driving to high school my senior year and listening to this show and hearing the Ass Man talk. Yeah.
Okay. You're familiar with the nickname. Randy Shaver, we got a friggin' all-star here.
I know.
That's aware of your nickname, a nickname you ran away from for years.
And he's much more gray than I am, which is amazing.
Well, that's because you put shoe polish on your head, for Christ's sake. Come on with that. That's not.
Hey, I've got nothing to hide.
No. It's funny.
He's the
How many
silver
All-Star
fox.
games have you made, Randy?
Jesus, Randy
This is
sits.
what-
Randy's got shoe polish in one hand and a paintbrush in the other when he gets out of bed. It's funny how many people mention that, Glenn, though, when they were texting in this morning. One person made some kind of joke about color commentary. Yeah, I know the color. It's gray. But you wear it so friggin' well. And, so many folks try to dummy it up. And good for you, Glen Perkins, for letting it happen.
Well, so I had a pitching coach in the minor leagues that his hair he had curly hair and he had a mustache, and he would let it go and it would turn gray as he cut it and all that, or it would fade. I don't know how hair color works. And then all of a sudden one day he would just show back up with a jet black mustache. And he would look at us like we would give him a double take, and he would look at us like, "What did I do? Do I have something? Do I have food in my teeth?" It's
yeah.
Like, no, Stu, you yesterday you were silver hair, silver mustache, and today you're jet black. Like, so I don't want to be that guy.
No,
so it's going to be great.
It's silly. Oh, man. Well, my damn, it all starts on Thursday. I can't believe it's finally here, the home opener next week. You'll be working how many games this year, Glenn? Because I know sometimes guys rotate in and out of there. How busy is your summer?
Yeah, I'll have somewhere in between. I don't even know. Somewhere between 70 and 80 games this year, between TV and then radio. So I'll do both this year, and so it'll be about half the schedule.
Oh wow, both radio and Randy Shaver, radio and television. You could say a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Nobody makes fun of my hair color on the radio.
No.
How was your winter?
My winter was great. Yeah, I got a daughter that plays high school hockey for Lakeville South, so got to watch her play hockey this winter, which was awesome. And then I spend the rest of my time playing pickleball and making dinners for the family. That's about it. So,
another pickleball victim.
Yes.
Yep. I'm one of those guys, but it's a good way to stay in shape. I'll tell you that.
I bet you're freaking good at it too.
Yeah, lefties. You don't see a lot of lefties.
You get to compete. I get to get that competitiveness out of me, and then stay in shape a little bit at least. If my hair's gonna go gray, I'm not going to grow a gut. So
aren't you also a grill master?
Yeah, I don't do much of that. My family doesn't like it, so it's kind of hard to justify.
They don't like your cooking?
No, they don't like grilled or smoked meat.
What? That's a sin.
That's uncommon.
Yeah. So when I do that, it's just for myself, and so I still do it. I definitely still. I like to get the smoker out, but it's not a big thing in our family. So more often than not, the dinners are they like especially my kids like pasta. So it's trying to find unique pasta dishes because they would eat the same thing every day, and I don't want to do that.
So you've spent all day smoking and grilling and whatnot, and put it in front of your family, and they just pushed the plate away and said,
I just know to not even. It's honestly, it's if they're going to be out of town or if they've got something going on or they're not going to be around for dinner, that's when I do it, because then I know I don't have to. I don't have to force it on them and then make them tell me that they like it.
You smoke a brisket for 36 hours, and the kids kids are like, Dad, where's the Kraft mac and cheese?
That's so much work.
That's exactly it. I could smoke something overnight and make mac and cheese with it, and they're going to crush the mac and cheese, and they're not going to touch the freaking food. So that's kind of the way. You learn these things after. I've been married for almost 20 years, and I got 2 teenage daughters, and so you learn these things over time. That some things are just not even worth fighting about.
Now we know the source. Now we know the source of the gray hair.
I think it was more my job than my family, but I think it was a combination of both.
My ex-wife was a terrible cook. We used to pray after we ate. The old Rodney Dangerfield joke to share with you. Glen Perkins, thank you so much for your time. We will be following you Thursday for the season opener, and we very much look forward to talking to you all baseball season, man. Thank you a lot.
Likewise, thank you guys, and have a great day. And, Thursday at 3 o'clock Central. It's go time.
We'll be there, dude. Thanks, Glenn.
All right. See you guys.
Our conversation with Glen Perkins brought to you by Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. I knew we were going to be tight.
A couple of his neighbors checked in saying, hey, if he ever wants to get the grill out, they'll stop by for an impromptu barbecue at any time.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to be quick friends, Glen Perkins.
He's good, man.
Yes,
he's really good.
And he does a great job on television and all.
And he's going to be really good for this show, too, because he's not going to pull any punches, for sure. Yeah.
Janelle, how are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for coming in.
I didn't even know Janelle was here.
I introduced her when we started the segment, Randy.
Yeah, but I don't listen.
Story of my life with Randy.
Janelle, you kind of look like a spy in that coat you're wearing, doesn't she?
So?
Oh, yeah. That's a very mysterious coat.
Like from a 70s spy movie or something.
A little sneaky.
Yeah, you got a sneaky trench coat on or whatever you're wearing.
Investigating you guys.
Like a Flasher's trench coat.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Boy.
That was a thought I had. Too polite to say.
A boy can dream.
Anything going on with you, Janelle Klein? Any stories for us as we keep her going here?
I'm pretty lame. You know what I did last night, though, that you guys will probably find kind of lame and funny? I went with some friends to bar bingo, and I've never been into that, and I had such a great time and could not believe how serious people take that.
Oh, you're not lying, Janelle.
Oh, my God.
Bar bingo is so much fun, though.
It's so fun.
Oh, yeah. People get very angry.
I mean, we thought there might be, fisticuffs.
On a Monday night bar bingo, too? Wow.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Janelle, I had a monthly gig where it was a bingo gig at a bar, at a casino, late on a Saturday night. Imagine how seriously those people took their bingo.
God.
I made the wrong call on a number once, and they honestly were like, "You should just leave now.
Yeah.
Just go out the back door. Don't make eye contact with anybody. Just leave for your own safety."
You had a good time, huh?
I had a lot of fun, but I mean, there's no messing around in there.
No, they get pretty wound up.
Yeah.
Did you win?
I did not win. My friend won. My friend won $90.
Nice.
But
Well,
no.
on a Monday night, hell, that's a pretty
why
good.
not? That's
yeah.
a pretty crazy night for me.
Especially
I've never
if you're-
won at bingo. Anybody here ever won?
Oh, sure, once
Yeah.
or twice, but it was nothing impressive. I mean, one time, a guy who used to work here took a side gig calling bingo at some. I mean, we all. I mean, in our early, Josh and I had side gigs when we first started.
For many years, yeah.
So this guy needed to make a little extra cash, so he was calling bingo at some roadhouse, and I went, and it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I went out there to be nice and keep the guy company, and I played. Well, there was only like 7 people in the bar, so I won, and I won $7 or something like that. It was just. But if you can get these big crowds and get a big pot, I'd say, no wonder people take it so seriously. Here's the thing, though. You'll get burned out on it pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever do it again.
Yeah.
But my friend, I mean, I think he's played more, and he was talking about how, like, in college, he and his friends used to go to bingo halls, right? Where it was, like, professional bingo playing.
Yeah.
And he tried to tell me that I couldn't handle it because I like to talk and screw around too.
Yeah.
That's my big problem with it, is I just start annoying people because I get bored.
Every time I bring me and my mom really like bar bingo, and every time my dad comes, one of us are eventually in charge of his card because he just likes to put the drinks back.
Yeah, you get to talking with people.
And he only has one card to follow. My mom's got like 5 in front of her.
I'm always impressed, especially when they're going so fast. People that can do, I mean, 2 cards is enough for me. I can't imagine doing 5. I know.
Oh, and the people that bring their own dauber, little marker thing from home, they don't even just use the ones that they provide the bar. They have their own.
Oh, we have probably about 12 of them.
Yeah, you end up having an arsenal of them because you forget to bring them and you got to grab.
It ends up everywhere, too.
Here is Smokes Your Mom's Pot Jesus, who texted in to say he used to play bar bingo every week until the incident.
Until the incident.
Oh, gosh. Bar bingo.
Every week he played.
I used to have nightmares of hearing bingo numbers being called because I used to work at a restaurant, and I would always work on Wednesday nights and Saturday days, and that's when we had bingo. And bingo was the worst when you were a server.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. I see him sweating it out when I show up for bingo. Not a good night for our local ball clubs, Randy Shaver. The Pigs and the Wolves both got pumped.
Yeah.
The Pigs were shut smooth out in Dallas by the Stars.
Yeah. Not as worried about the Wild right now, only because their situation in the standings is pretty solidified.
Sure.
I mean, if they were 10 points less than what they are right now, I think there'd be a lot of concern, but they're sitting in a pretty good spot. So
they get right back at it tonight.
They just have to play 500 hockey the rest of the way.
Right.
To find a way to make the playoffs, and that's all that matters. The Wolves are a different story, though.
Yeah, they were just curb stomped by the Indiana Pacers last night. They never led in the ball game. They lost by 16, and it wasn't even that close.
No.
Indiana was just pouring in buckets.
Yeah. I mean, they made three-pointers, made them look so easy. Obi Toppin last night was just insanely good. And he was the first time they played him, too, when they didn't have, Turner and Halliburton and Siakam playing in that game. That's a good basketball team. They
really are.
They're battling to stay in that 3-4 spot in the East, and they're a good team. They got a lot of great depth. I love T.J. McConnell, and Maturin is really good. Toppin is very good off the bench. That's a strong basketball team, and the Wolves
they look pretty ordinary.
Here's the thing. When Anthony Edwards is not shooting the ball well, he just doesn't, at least lately, he's not doing as much in the other categories, right? Last night he was 1 for 11 from three-point land, and then he only ended up with 4 assists and 2 rebounds. When you're having a bad night shooting, you got to find a way to do other things well.
Right.
And it's just not there for the Wolves right now. At least, they win 7. They look great. This team is so hard.
Now they've
so
lost
hard
3
to
or
figure
4.
out.
Yeah.
They just can't find any rhythm right now. And unfortunately, the way the West is shaking, they'll probably end up, the worst they'll probably end up is the 8th seed, but that's not where you want to be. That's just not where you want to be.
What do they got coming up next? They can F around till Friday. They host the Phoenix Suns. They looked ordinary or maybe even less than ordinary last night against the Indiana. You got your new basketball coach officially in town here.
Love him.
College basketball, U of M men's.
Nico Medved is the new Gopher head basketball coach. And, the only thing I'll say is I think and a lot of people have talked about this, it's a bonus that he's from here. It's a bonus that he went to the U. It's not the reason why they hired him. The guy has a track record. He spent so much time at Colorado State. He knows how to build a program. He knows how to win. Even if he wasn't from the U, it would still be a great hire. So
I'm with you on that.
I think the guy's going to do a great job here. I think he's perfect for this job. Obviously, he's got to hit the ground running. The portal opened yesterday, and they're going to need to stock the lineup. Now, I don't know if anybody is coming with him from Colorado State. I guess we'll find out.
There should be 1 or 2 kids coming with him.
Over the next couple of days. But the guy's really good. And I think it's an exciting time for Gopher fans to see what this guy can do, because in short order, he built a very strong Colorado State team. So
It's all surreal. Just because everything that's gone on here, you just don't have time to process it yet. But it's pretty special when you land here, and I suppose when I get to campus and everything and see it, it'll really, really sink in. But man, it's like a dream come true to have an opportunity to do this.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yep.
You know, when we were talking to Glen Perkins about his hair, we should have brought up this college basketball coach. This poor guy. Oh, my God. Richie McKay is his name. He's a head coach at Liberty University. Now, they made the tournament this year and then got gassed right away. Nobody's going to remember their great season. They won 28 games this year. Made it to the NCAA tournament, like I mentioned. No one's going to remember that. The biggest storyline coming from this Liberty Ball Club is their head coach, Richie McKay, his painted-on hairline. Do we have these pictures up on our website?
Yes, we do.
Oh, my God. If you see the pictures,
yeah.
He's being interviewed on the court during the tournament, and he's got this terrible painted-on, it's like Carlos Boozer bad.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, he's got plenty of real hair.
It doesn't make sense.
He just doesn't like the receding hairline.
Right.
That's
He obviously doesn't like how far back his hairline has retreated the last few years. So somebody sprays it on for him. Check out the photos on our website. I feel bad for the guy that he goes through with this.
Yeah.
And his kids are defending him online.
Oh, he's getting blasted.
Oh, God. He just needs someone to tell him that enough is enough. So check those pictures out.
I agree with you, though. I don't think he'd look bad with it. Just let it go. It's not terrible.
It's just starting a little bit further back than it was a few years ago. I don't know. Some guys are really vain about that.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this? I was given a heads up on this yesterday. We didn't have time to get to it. A Minnesota kid won the world's most prestigious bass fishing tournament over the weekend.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
And he made more than $300,000. The Bassmaster Classic, certainly heard of it, was won by a kid here from Grand Rapids by the name of Easton Fothergill, which is a very interesting last name. He won the sumbitch. What does it say here? The biggest winning weight, by the way, in the tournament's 55-year history. So not only did he win, but he set a record for the most. Over 3 days, he caught 15 bass weighing 76 pounds, 15 ounces. Jeez. He went to Grand Rapids High School, fishes collegiately somewheres in Alabama, and now he's won the Bassmaster Classic.
Oh, he is going to be getting so many calls from so many sponsors. He's going to be set for life. He's going to fish for a living.
To fish for a living, to be a professional fisherman.
Gosh, what a dream. Sometimes
ask Ron Shera what that life is like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Shera made a living doing that, and what an incredible life he had.
My
still
basketball
has.
team in college was named after a Bassmaster Classic winner.
I'm sorry, one more time?
My intramural basketball team in college was named after a former Bassmaster winner. We were watching hungover one day, and there's a guy named Skeet Reese. And we loved that name, so we named our intramural team Skeet Reese and the Top Notch Anglers.
I'll be damned. Well, congratulations, kid.
I'm hung up on this idea that you can fish collegiately.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They have high school teams.
High school fishing.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Up until now?
Not in North St. Paul High School. We didn't have fishing teams in my high school, but yeah, there's like ones in Wayzata.
They're all over the place. A buddy of mine's kid was a high school fisherman.
Nicer schools,
like
usually.
a club thing, or it's actually a sanctioned sport?
Well, it's not sanctioned, no.
I was going to say.
It's a club thing.
I don't know all the details, but you can fish for your high school. You can fish for your college.
I had no idea.
More now than ever before. There was no such thing when I was in high school.
Yeah.
No such thing.
I would have been much more excited to be going to high school if I could do something like that.
You could fish in high school, Nick. You just were skipping class in order to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it brings me back to when...
Oh, Nick was reeling them in high school, I'll tell you what.
I mean, no wonder there was no fishing team at any high schools in the 80s. Because, I mean, I remember we had a class called Outdoor Education. And we learned to tie knots and nonsense like that. And one day... The teacher who ran it said, okay, who wants to go on a fishing trip? It'll just be like a little field trip. And we all, of course, raised our hands. and nobody wet a line. We were all just sitting on the shore smoking grass the whole friggin' time. And the teacher comes around the corner and says, what are we doing here? This isn't spring break, for God's sake. I drove you guys all the way to this river, wherever the hell we went. I drove you all the way over here. You just want to sit here and smoke pot?
People are texting in on Easton, and I wonder why the article didn't mention this. Apparently, he had brain surgery. This kid's gone through a lot in his life. There's a few folks saying they could make a movie about everything he's been through and what he's accomplished.
Oh, wow.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Oh, man, what else is going on? Remember this, everybody. Josh, remember this. The next time you go out and play horse against my godson, or Randy Shaver, next time you put on your tights to play a game of pickleball.
Sure.
A scientific study says that athletes perform better if they drop a deuce before game time.
Well, that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
But do you know the science behind it?
I would guess that it just makes you feel lighter.
Let me see if there is any real science. Oh, yeah, here it is. Defecating anywhere, even on a busy sidewalk or whatever, improves cognitive performance in athletes. Well, it actually says elite athletes, but I think we're all close enough.
See, now that's something you need to ask Glen Perkins the next time he's on.
I was going to ask him when we had him on, but I thought, first time, maybe this is...
Got to get to know him a bit.
That's a second or third date conversation.
This would have been a great question for Parisi. This would have been a great question for Parisi.
Yeah.
Actually, Marcus's would be a great question.
Well, who's got Zach's number?
I've got it.
Text him real quick. Ask him if he wants to come on the air and talk about taking cutting a turd before. So here it is.
He's going to look at that text and go, what?
Yeah. They studied triathletes actually, at a place called the University of somewhere. They studied triathletes, and they gave these athletes something called the Stroop test, which is a cognitive test that measures brain flexibility and response time. Very fancy schmancy stuff here. So out of the 13 triathletes who took the Stroop test, 9 out of the 13 improved or performed better after using the toilet. They performed significantly better on the test after cutting a log. Even better when they took a laxative. So, use that to your advantage next time you go out onto the court or the ice or whatever it might be. If you sit down and do your business before game time.
Janelle, before you go play bingo.
Right? Maybe that's why I didn't win.
Yeah, see?
You were holding it.
You were holding it in.
Oh, no.
You can't hold it in, Janelle. It's not good for you.
I just want to keep talking about this so Nick can keep coming up with more phrases for it.
Let's see what else I have here. It says here now the rectal region. That's how they say it. That's not me. This is the article. The rectal region plays an unexpected role in rapid decision making. I can't decide if I agree with that.
Well, sure, because you got to make a decision fast.
I don't know if I agree with them, Janelle, because I've got one in the chamber.
Oh, man.
That was always my dad's solution to any sickness when we were kids. Dad, if we'd approached him, Dad, I don't feel very good. Have you taken a good dump? He would say. He always thought that was the cure-all.
Janelle, when you were getting straight A's at the Madison School of Journalism, did you picture Tuesday mornings like this?
Right.
This is why she got into the business.
Yep.
Exactly.
One day, if I work hard and I put in the effort.
Explosive diarrhea. Jesus said he is dropping a deuce as we speak, but he thinks his cognitive ability is on the decline. Let's go on the opposite way.
Hey, it's just that's just the results of one study, that 9 out of the 13 athletes perform better after buttering the bowl. How am I doing, Janelle, in coming up with
buttering the bowl?
You said you wanted new terms.
So good.
Somebody here says it also works in the bedroom. You could try it out there, too.
Oh, God. I'll never forget the day Josh and I walked in. We walked into that bar. Were we mad or what, Josh, when we walked into that bar
Enraged.
together? We walked into a bar together, and Josh had a big, fresh human turd in his hand. And he says to the bartender, he says, "Look what I almost stepped in out front your bar. Look at this. What kind of a place are you running here?" Josh said.
In his bare hand.
I could have stepped in that.
Yeah. Now you get it, Janelle?
Imagine the mess that would have made.
Oh, Randy. I suppose we better get her going.
Yeah, I think we've done enough damage for one morning.
We have special guests coming up next, Randy Shaver. We have
good.
Special guests. So we'll let you go tomorrow. You and Brad can be the poop joke guys if you want to.
I'd be happy to help. To hear Brad tell a poop joke, that's classic.
He recently admitted he loves diarrhea.
That's true.
Yes, he did.
He did. Talk to you tomorrow, Randy.
See ya.
All right, coming up next, by God, what a thrill. AEW Tag Team Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin will join us on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit StandardHeating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
No Contest Wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, X-Pac.
Getting suspended in school. That's the number one thing people, when they meet me, they tell me.
I got detention.
Yeah, everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liv Morgan.
I couldn't believe that was my time. I was so grateful.
Talking about living dreams. No pun intended, TJ. Relax.
I rarely do these anymore, but I was really looking forward to this.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Stop be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is 8:28. Welcome back to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Janelle Klein is here as well. This is always very cool for us because we are wrestling fans on this program. And it's especially cool when we get a chance to chat with some local wrestlers who have been showing folks all over the world what a great talent pool we have here in the Twin Cities. And it's always been that way. In studio with us, AEW Tag Team Top Flight, which is made up of brothers, AEW star Darius Martin and AEW star Dante Martin. Good morning, fellas.
Oh, good morning.
First off, both of yous are way too handsome and well-dressed for morning radio.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely make us look like schmucks.
My wife would leave me in a heartbeat if she was in here today.
You could have given us a heads up. We would have showered at least or something.
Yeah, maybe.
You look wonderful this morning. Are you doing television interviews after this is over, or what?
Yeah, we just got done at WCCO, and I believe we have Care 11 later.
Oh, well, Janelle Klein here, the blonde in the brown coat, is a Care 11 reporter. So you could show them around the building
I would
if
be
you.
happy to. Thanks for supporting Care 11.
Tell them who to avoid, all that kind of stuff.
So Top Flight, among many others, will be putting on a show at the legendary Roy Wilkins Auditorium tomorrow night in St. Paul for a live episode of AEW Dynamite. It'll be televised live on TBS, and tickets are available at AEWTix.com or Ticketmaster. We were chatting with Dante and Darius a little bit before we went on the air. Obviously, we're well aware that you guys are local, but what we did not know, because I asked, have you ever done a show at Roy Wilkins before? And the fellas told me that that's where their high school commencement took place. So where did you guys go to high school?
We both went to Fridley High School.
Fridley, and you had your commencement there at Roy Wilkins.
Yeah.
So you know that place up and down.
Oh, yeah. Might have not have graduated, but I was there for sure.
I didn't know anybody graduated from there.
Well, now, wait a minute. Was that Dante joking around? I'm sorry, I can't see the boy.
Dante over here.
Did you see, did you not graduate high school? You went straight to AEW?
Oh, no. Maybe graduated. I don't know. I had a really, really low GPA. So.
Oh, you're not alone. Because, I mean, how old were you, Dante, when you made your debut on AEW? You guys are 24 and 25 years old, and you're veterans at this point.
Yeah, I was 19 years old when we debuted.
So you were out of high school.
Having all the wrestlers buy you beer and stuff at 19?
Nothing that I can say on air.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's crazy that a 19-year-old's making his pro debut.
Friendly Fridley is where you went to high school.
Friendly Fridley.
All right. And you're back home now. Have you... Oh, one more story. This is not something we covered out in the hallway there. So that's really interesting that you had your high school commencement there, and now you're doing a show tomorrow night. This is a story we heard, a rumor that one of you skipped prom to work a show?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I skipped prom. I skipped my first prom. My girlfriend at the time was probably not happy with it. But
So what's the whole story? I mean, you asked her, she said yes, and then you had to say, "Look, I can't make it. I gotta go to work."
No, there wasn't even really a discussion about it. It was kind of like prom or wrestling, and I think the choice was obvious, and she was supportive at the time.
Obviously, she knew. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, have you had a chance now to see some friends and family here that you're doing a show in town, or are you just been too busy?
No, honestly, we're here a lot. In between loops, we always come home for the most part, so we get a good chance to spend time with friends.
Okay. So, has travel in wrestling changed a little bit? We always seem to hear that it's just brutal.
Definitely. It went from being on the road a lot to now it's flights a lot, which, I don't know, you can kind of pick your poison on that one and get out the car and stretch when you want, or you can just head straight through the airport and be there in the 3-4 hours that it takes on a regular travel day.
Yeah, but living in Minnesota, there's always like flight delays and stuff too, so we got to be aware of that one.
Have you guys experienced anything crazy on the flights? You know, we have stories in the news every day about somebody freaking out on a flight. I imagine if you guys travel as much as you do, have you seen anything?
Oh yeah. I've definitely had a plane start going down. Not a top flight.
You had troubles where things looked iffy?
Oh, definitely, 100%. The white flashing lights came on and everything.
How were you feeling in that moment, Dante?
I was pinching myself because I thought it was a dream. And I thought it was like one of those dreams where you like roll over and you're falling, but then you like wake up and you're not really falling. So I thought it was that, but yeah, no, it turns out it was real. The flight attendant looked the most panicked out of anybody on the flight.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
When the crew is working, that's when you know you need to work.
That's when I know it's my time to panic.
So which one of you is the tougher brother, Darius or Dante? Which one's more likely to scream cry in that situation as opposed to keep their cool?
Oh, it's probably me. I'm afraid of heights, which is so weird because I'm a high flyer. I jump off the top rope. Anything where I'm in control, I can put myself on the ground where I want, I'm all for. But if I'm in a tin can thousands of miles up in the air, it's not my comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm definitely cool and collected.
Okay. You're cool and collected. If we're ever on a flight where there's trouble, look for Darius, and he'll calm the situation. That is, you're afraid of heights. For God's sake, I've seen you in action. It's
30 feet in the air.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Congrats on everything you've accomplished.
Thank you.
I mean, I was watching your very first match on AEW. I believe it was it AEW Dark, boys?
Yep.
First match was on Dark.
And, of course, news spread here in town that you were going to be on AEW, and that was coming up on what now, 5 years ago?
Yeah, wow.
What was that first experience like for the both of you?
Honestly, it was crazy. At the time, I was in between jobs, and I don't know, I just figured I'd shoot my shot, and I DM'd the Elite, Kenny, and the Young Bucks, and Matt Jackson got back to me. He said he wanted to give us an opportunity, so we went down and we worked a match against Dark Order, and they were impressed enough. We ended up working the Young Bucks 3 weeks later on TV.
That's great. 3 weeks later, your face...
All from sliding in the DM?
All from sliding in the DM.
Shoot your shot.
I guess so.
Man, that's amazing.
When you find out you're going to wrestle, what are nerves like in that situation? You guys seem like pretty cool customers, but I'd imagine you'd have to be nervous.
Definitely, but I think that there's a part of the nervousness that kind of helps you. I think that nervousness we can also switch out for adrenaline, and that adrenaline definitely carries us through some of the pain that we take in the ring.
Yeah, both of us started training young enough, too. We started training at 12 and 13, so in a way, it's kind of like riding a bike to us. It's a situation that we're familiar with. We've been there 1,000 times before, so I think we just had to tell ourselves that and push through.
I mean, you killed it from the get-go. You did.
Thank you.
Did you guys both work First Ave shows and whatnot?
Oh, we did. Yep.
All the time, right?
Yep.
WrestlePaloozas?
WrestlePaloozas.
Yes.
We got a WrestlePalooza champion over here, Darius.
Mm-hmm.
Longest reigning.
Did you work shows? Oh, God, I mean, this is something that we've been passionate about for years, going to the local shows. Just to name a few, did you ever work a show with Super Thunder Frog?
Super Thunder Frog, yeah, baby.
He rocks. He's rocked up.
One of the most interesting personalities I've ever met in my life.
100%, he's a god.
Which was the character that kicked around the ball of yarn in the ring? Was that Wildcat?
Wildcat, yep.
Yeah.
Wildcat.
You'd throw him. He would be
Thunder Frog and Wildcat, Minnesota Wrecking Zoo.
Yeah, that's right. The Wrecking Zoo. Not the Wrecking Crew, but the Wrecking Zoo.
Wrecking Zoo.
Ashley, you're not familiar with this character?
No, I
My
want to
God.
know more about this cat.
We would die up in the bleachers or whatever in our seats at First Avenue. He is a cat, so his opponent could distract him with a ball of yarn.
That's so simple and so great.
And it was a riot. So after that first, we're talking with AEW Tag Team Top Flight here, Darius and Dante Martin. After that first appearance on AEW, are suddenly telephone calls and text messages coming in from ex-girlfriends and things like that?
I wouldn't say that, but a lot of congratulations for sure from a lot of friends and family and just people we know in the business that we've come across.
Mm-hmm. What about the prom date? Do you think she'll be in the audience wondering what could have been?
Wearing the dress?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
Was it intimidating at first, some of the characters that I'm sure you met beforehand? Were there a couple of men or women on the roster that you were kind of in awe of at first?
Oh, yeah, for sure. These are definitely people that we grew up watching, so it's always cool to be able to work with people like Dean Malenko, like Sting, and just big names in our industry. But everyone has always been super cool with us. I felt like we were well received from the get-go. Everyone's always been chill and easy to talk to.
Mm-hmm. And then how could you not be in awe of all the girls that we have?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, absolutely.
Was there any one of those moments where you maybe met a wrestler that all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I grew up watching him and now like we're peers, he's in front of me or he or she's in front of me? Any names like that come to mind?
Yeah, we worked with Chris Jericho really early on our AEW career, so that was kind of like a wild turnaround, pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. And now you've had the chance to work with just about everybody. Or is there a matchup that Top Flight hasn't had a crack at yet?
Oh, there's
Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin,
Bobby Lashley.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Those are huge guys.
Yeah, Shelton's a Minnesota guy, too. So
right.
Wrestled at the U of M.
Yeah. And Bobby Lashley is massive. I mean, absolutely massive. But, you guys have got the skill set for it. Yeah, I remember, Josh, was it you and I sitting side by side watching Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar?
Yep.
At you guys might have been at that show. Maybe you were too young to be at that show. I don't know how many years ago it was. Oh, yeah, you were too young. Top Flight. And God bless you for being that friggin' young.
And curse you at the same time.
Yes, God bless you. And also F you for being 24 and 25. We have a mutual friend that we'd like to ask you about. Local wrestling legend, retired referee Rob Page.
Oh, yeah, Rob's the man.
He said a lot of nice things about you guys.
Yeah, super cool dude. Always been super nice.
Yeah, any fond memories of working with Rob? Did he ever call a clean match?
No, I never
did. He did. Actually, I do have a funny memory of Rob. It was me and Dante versus Josh Alexander and Ethan Page. And I think the Lucha Bros were in the match as well.
Okay.
But we were in the ring at First Ave, and we were all ready to wrestle, and then we realized there's no referee in the ring. So we were just kind of pushing each other for a while, and then Rob comes sprinting out and refs the whole thing on the fly. And then he gets to the back and just like collapses out of like nervousness. And he blew the whole thing, but it was super. It was cool. It was fine.
So was the scheduled ref like in the bathroom or something?
I can't remember the exact situation, but I definitely remember him like running out and like super stressed about the whole thing.
Has no idea what the finish is. Just got to go with it.
He's been a loyal listener of this show for many years, Rob Page, and he texts in a lot. I don't know if he's texted in this morning.
I haven't seen
to
it
send
yet.
you a message, but like I said, watched many shows at First Ave and watched Rob. We used to heckle him by calling him Screech. From Saved by the Bell, of course. And he's forgiven me for that. Some text messages have come in for Dante and Darius Martin. Obviously, you got a lot of friends here in town. Congratulating you, things like that. Talking about the old days. One listener wants to know, well, we already talked about Super Thunder Frog and Wildcat. One listener wants to know the funniest or craziest or most ridiculous character you've ever seen or worked with in the business where you could not believe the gimmick. Because I'm sure you've worked with a lot of different type of people.
Yeah, that's a really hard question, actually. There's a lot of crazy characters.
It's tough to top a frog that carries around a giant sledgehammer.
That is true. Yeah. A frog that can clear the building with a sledgehammer. Right. That's a good one.
Sometimes what I've noticed about wrestling is some of the biggest, funniest characters are people who aren't even trying to be anything that they're not. We got a lot of you got to be a little weird to get into wrestling. To get punched in the face every week and like it and come back. So a lot of the people that just like filter themselves in are characters in themselves before the camera even turns on.
Mm-hmm. I will say I'm impressed that Orange Cassidy does everything he does with his hands in his pocket.
I love
He
that
just
guy
doesn't seem
so
to care.
much.
He doesn't care at all.
He really doesn't seem to care.
He seems bothered to have to be out there.
That is a good bit.
That's a great example.
Also like the dud firework that he comes out with.
That's a great example, and that's a great example of a guy who, nobody thought had a chance. Not the biggest guy in the world. And really, your character is just a dude who chills with his hands in his pockets? Nobody thought... Nobody gave him a chance.
He's literally my favorite. I can't watch a single video of him in it and not just absolutely lose my mind.
Even his thumbs up aren't very enthusiastic.
Not at all.
And usually that's an enthusiastic gesture, but it's not when he does it.
I'll say this about Darius and Dante. As a lifelong wrestling fan, it's very difficult these days to surprise fans of television wrestling. Because at this point, fans have seen just about everything. But the athletic ability you guys showed from the start did take people by surprise. Your speed and the heights. Funny enough that Dante said he's afraid of heights.
That's hilarious.
Your leaping ability and this and that. So I could see it on people's faces right away. And that's got to be a great feeling when you see the people's faces change in the crowd after seeing what you can do, right?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because a lot of fans kind of go into it. I know it sounds, like you're jaded or something, but I think a lot of wrestling fans go into it and they say to themselves, well, what are you going to show me that I haven't seen before? Well, you guys were able to accomplish that. You really were.
Thank you.
A lot of people, they wrestle with their brothers. Nick and I both have brothers. We did a lot of wrestling. You guys obviously made something out of it. What were some of the more dangerous things you did just wrestling around the house?
Oh, boy.
Because I'd imagine you didn't just, it just elevated out of nowhere. I'd imagine you're probably doing that since you were kids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got mad heat with our mom for all the couches we broke.
Yeah, how many hospital bills?
Honestly, not too many hospital bills up until AEW.
Yeah.
Any jumping off of roofs or anything crazy like that?
Actually, yep, we did all of that. We jumped off roofs. We rented a ring before. That's like one of our first experiences in the ring. It's like my 13th birthday. We rented a ring. And then we got like mattresses. We took our mattresses out of our room and we were just doing dives over the top rope onto the mattresses. But we messed up the box spring. So
that was like your first ring was mattresses and whatnot when you were 13. Hilarious. Someone else texted in. Where is this? I had it in front of me. What's the most fun move to perform in the ring, whether it be as a team or individuals?
I think we got a cool move called the nosedive where Darius lifts him up in a power bomb and I come off the first rope twice into a big backflip to take him down off Darius's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
We put him high up in the air so we could drop him and they can get a little bit of that fear that I get when I'm sitting in an airplane.
How nervous are you, like, trying a move like that for the first time? Because you probably have the idea in your head, and then you're like, well, let's give it a shot. That's got to be kind of terrifying.
A lot of that was just molded through diving. I did like diving in high school off the 1 meter platform, so a lot of like the body control and just like the air awareness came from that, and just that there's something off with my brain and just wanting to see what I can do.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool to learn, the progression of something like that. Oh, and speaking of all this wrestling, Janelle Klein over here, you easily could be Ric Flair's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, she is.
He tried to make that happen.
A couple of years ago.
He would drop everything for you, Janelle.
The Nature Boy came in studio, and he was distracted from the get-go. He fell in love with Janelle. We were lucky we got a word out of him.
Oh, man.
And you thought he was cute, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, well, anyway, he was charming. I felt bad, you guys, because he had been discussed on our show quite a lot, and I did not know who he was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you never had heard of him before.
I had never heard of him, and so...
we almost gave you a pop-up power bomb when we found out. You admitted you'd never heard of the man. I thought, what the hell is the matter with this woman? Why do you not... But then when you met him, you thought he was very charming.
He was very funny.
Oh, yeah, he's hilarious. He was great.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun.
I was kind of jealous of all the attention you were getting, Janelle.
Why can't I be a tall, hot blonde?
Janelle had to come in today on Flair Day.
Well, we're very, very happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the support.
Oh, you bet. We love watching you. Like I said, from the word go, that very first episode, people could tell you were going to make an impact. So AEW star Darius Martin, AEW star Dante Martin, Top Flight. Thank you very much for stopping to see us. Have a great show tomorrow night, and we hope to see you again sometime.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
KARE 11's Janelle Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's only a matter of minutes now before we're out of here. Cubby needs seepies.
And potty.
Oh, potty.
Yeah, you're not the only one, Josh.
Must use the bathroom, Janelle Klein is here. I think we made some new friends today. Glen Perkins.
Yeah.
Top Flight.
Yep.
What a great day. Everybody was awesome.
It was a good day.
They were wonderful. Both of them. All three of them, I guess I should say. Oh, wow. Janelle Klein. We made some new friends. The Top Flight brothers, the Martin brothers, were talking about some backyard wrestling, which was what started their career. Dana was a backyard wrestler. I was a little too old by the time backyard wrestling came around. I was in my 20s, and I would have looked pretty silly out there with the 7th graders. But anyway, I got a text message from Angry Bus Driver Jesus. He said he and his brother, because Dante and Darius were saying they would, dive up and down on mattresses and whatnot, backyard wrestling. Angry Bus Driver Jesus says he and his brother would sumo wrestle. They would stick couch cushions under their T-shirts and slam into each other full speed. We stopped when my brother launched me one time, and I almost took the side of my face off on the brick fireplace.
Oh, that's so fun, though.
Has anyone ever done those sumo costumes that you see at like a minor league baseball game or anything like that?
No.
No, I always
thought that looks
wanted
pretty
to.
good. It looks kind of fun. I would like to do that.
Rent them or something? Or?
Yeah, Ashley, when you're done being with child, let's go one-on-one in some sumo suits.
I've seen those videos so many times, and they always remind me of those other videos where people have like those exercise balls, and they run at each other full speed, and they just mess themselves up.
If there's a child involved, that child ends up in the next county.
It's so fun to
when
watch.
they bump with those exercise. I don't mean bump the way you think I mean bump. No, I've never tried the sumo outfits. All that comes to mind when I see folks wearing those, hot. I bet you are scorching hot within seconds. So here's what I thought would be a good alternative. I'm sure it's also very warm. But how about the folks who get inside the giant plastic ball?
I've done that.
And roll themselves. You've done that?
That is fun.
It's a lot harder than you think to stand up.
Yeah, it really is.
did your body temperature skyrocket immediately?
No,
or is it
I mean,
not that
outside of just the running, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing abnormal.
So you were able to bound off of each other?
Yeah.
I was very hot, but you guys know I'm a sweater.
Yeah, you do sweat quite a bit.
That looks like fun. I don't volunteer me if you end up buying the sumo outfit. I'll drop dead. What are you laughing
I'd
at?
rather just put on the weight. That sounds more fun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Josh, but
I want to do it the fun way.
Here's listeners who say that they used to wrestle in Josh's mom's backyard.
yeah, that's what got me, Nick.
Stop that.
Others listeners are texting in saying, yes, the sumo gimmick is fun, but you get very, very, very sweaty.
Oh, I'll bet.
I suppose an August night at a minor league baseball game, they probably don't clean those suits out very well either.
Mascot outfits have almost killed me in the past.
Oh, that would be so cool.
And those around you.
And those around me. The one time I had the opportunity to run the mascot race at Target Field, luckily that evening it was very cool. It was one of the first 10, 12 home games of the season. So it was late April, early May. The weather was very cool. I was praying for that when they were nice enough to invite me. I was praying, please give me an early season ball game. I don't know how folks can do it in July and August. I was dead last by 1,000 miles. But it was fun. And like I said, I got lucky because the weather was cool. I was Louis the Loon.
Did you run in sandals? Because I don't know if I've ever seen you wear shoes. Oh, it's all like winter, you know?
No,
Good question.
You're right. When it's cold, I wear imitation work boots. Mm-hmm. When it's above 60, I wear flip-flops. So I was wearing the imitation work boots. Not that it would have made any difference. I hadn't. This was 4, 5, 6 years ago. At that point in my life, I hadn't run in a decade or so. I mean, maybe I've never, since I was a kid. I mean, I did some skating, but anyway, I had no chance in the first place. I was, at the time, in my mid-40s, and everyone else in the contest was 24. So I didn't mind. I didn't care if I won or lost. But, yeah, I was running in the work boots.
I would have started tripping people.
They warned us about that, Ashley. They warned us. They said, don't be knocking anybody's ass into the wall or don't be tripping anybody. They'll put the cuffs on you. Yes. So now that you've said that out loud, they're not going to invite you.
I was actually thinking, Dana, when you mentioned you wanted to wrestle Ashley, now you have the size difference, but I think she'd whoop you pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
She's got that fire in her belly I don't think you have.
Especially it was one of those mornings where I was being extra annoying and she just wanted to take her aggression out on me.
I only know how to fight to the death, Dana.
Yeah. You know in the movies where they just keep punching to the point where you're like, oh, my God. It's just so disturbing. They keep punching the person. That's how I see Ashley doing it.
There's that classic Simpsons clip where the guy goes, stop, he's already dead.
Yeah.
That would be Ashley just destroying my skull.
And no remorse whatsoever. No. He had it coming.
And then he just kind of stands up, well, I don't know, should we go get burgers or something?
I could see that for sure.
It's time to get it done. Janelle, thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
Say hello to Jose Canseco.
I sure will.
And we will talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Good luck to traveling IT Jesus headed to the airport for the first business trip since he was in a plane that landed upside down in Toronto last month.
Is that right?
Yeah, today's the first day he's going back on the road, he said. So let's hope things land wheel side down.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Well, we had a chance to talk to him, and what a funny guy. Good luck with that, sir.
Thank you to A Touch of Coffee with My Creamer Cheeses checking in from San Antonio. Shout out to the UPS Jesuses and Cheesuses, especially Golden Valley UPS Jesus from Box Handler Jesus. And then a few birthdays. Happy birthday to Big Sweet Ginger Jesus, Hats Jesus, and Gloria, a.k.a. Palm Tree Jesus. Thanks so much for listening.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.